Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. My name is Adam Riacha. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 5:15 p.m., maybe a couple minutes late. Either way, we are ready to hop into a best ball draft today. We have a very special guest, longtime member of the channel. We got Anthony from Best Ball on call in here. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on here, and let's draft a shipper if we can. The rules are pretty crazy right now.
You know, it's the wild, wild west. Times are changing, and we got to scoop up those values before it's too late. With a little more information, I feel like now is like one of the best times because if you were like making bets that are starting to work out, then you can get ahead of the market perhaps, and then you can also like maybe fix some mistakes.
Right, and some people like to get out over their skis with some of this stuff too and take picks way out of whack. Like I feel like you have to make adjustments, but sometimes you can't get too crazy about it, and people love to do that.
Not only that, as people start to reach, we are going to get some other players that start to fall just naturally, right. And I feel like you can kind of balance out some exposures. Are there any like players that you hit big on so far, like over 15% that you're like, sweet, that's going to pay off?
I was big into DJ Moore, like before he had a landing spot. Wasn't sure where he was going to end up, and I think it'll be good. I don't know that it'll be great with Buffalo just because their receiver room always seems to be a mess. So I'm hoping that pans out, you know.
I've got some options too, but it seems like DJ Moore has been on a bit of a downturn as recently. But last time we saw him as just like the clear number one with like Fields, he crushed. He was like going crazy that first year in Chicago. But,
yeah, and in Carolina when he was the guy, he was pretty good too. But it feels like he's just always had more competition lately, especially when he was on the Bears. So maybe now with only really having Khalil Shakir to compete with, unless they bring somebody else in, he should be a guy there.
I could still see them draft someone, but I do like the Joe Brady kind of sneaky connection from those Panthers days. At least there's like
that's when he was his best.
Yeah, and thankfully he stays healthy. I've got like I think I've managed to have like 17% DJ Moore before the trade happened. So I had a lot of DJ Moore, Caleb Williams teams though. I was kind of in the camp of like he might be the most valuable Bear, but at least he was a good pick where he was going.
Right, at least he went to a good spot and didn't go to like the Jets or something stupid like that.
Absolutely, as long as we avoid the Jets, we're in good shape.
Not that would be. Not that there would be a move that they would do, I would think, but you never know. It's the Jets.
Yeah, they have so many interesting decisions to make. I could also see Breece get traded later in the year if you know we know they're not going to be picking in the top. I guess the back half of the first round. That's for sure.
No, did you see the Max Crosby news?
I know that came in just before we started, so maybe we take a quick gander at that.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And then hop in. I'll refresh this news tab on Underdog. It seems like they have pretty much all the same info that they also tweet as well. And so, yeah, 12 minutes ago, trade to Baltimore is off. Max Crosby not going to the Ravens. They have backed out. Your initial thoughts on this?
I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that where it was such a high profile move, sat for a day, and then all of a sudden just, hey, by the way, we're not doing this.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. My only thought is like, could they maybe, obviously there's the physical, I guess, involved, but if they legally can do this, maybe they have a different trade they'd like to do, or they're just like regretting giving up that 14th overall pick. And they're like, shit, someone's going to be on the board there that we really like. And we made a mistake.
I was thinking physical at first when you said that. I was like, usually that's the only way. I would think it's almost has to be something like that. Like
or no, who aims. This is the claim he failed this physical. That seems like the only like real justification,
right? Or something like that. Because wouldn't you think once they make that news and share it with everybody, and doesn't that affect a lot of what other teams are doing too? You would think.
Absolutely, the financial implications of maybe they wouldn't have paid Jalen Naylor had they not expected to have certain picks and certain resources. Yeah, this kind of also like throws some piss in the punch bowl for everyone. Like no one feels good about him coming back after it's like, well, we're ready to get rid of you. You didn't want to be here. You were excited to leave. Like this is not good. So very, very interesting. because they get the first round pick back. The only thing I can think of is like where this might lead. They, I think, are a great spot for Kenyon Sadiq in the middle of the first round. I mean, maybe someone like Jordan Tyson piques their interest, but they lose Isaiah Likely. They lose Charlie Kolar. I can't
Did
say.
you see the other Patrick Ricard, I believe, went to the Giants.
They're losing quite a bit. They're in a big rebuild. It almost feels like, but like in a way where you still don't expect them to be less than 12 wins just because it's Lamar Jackson.
You would think he'd be able to keep a team in contention, at least have a winning record,
Well, last year they didn't, right? Weren't they 8-9 last year?
Yeah, because they had the Steelers for the game to win the division, I believe.
Yeah, they're a weird team to fully gauge. Like, I want to believe in Jesse Minter and their new offensive coordinator. I think the former Packers. No, I think that's Sean Mannion. I think he went to the Eagles. I'm forgetting who their OC is, but like they have a lot of variables, and I'm not quite sure that they're just like a lock to win the division again.
Didn't the Raiders also just pay Tyler Linderbaum, the old center from the Ravens too? So that's interesting too. Like as far as their money that's tied up in that, because that's a big deal. That they probably.
Yeah, would they have been willing to pay that much had they not taken Max Crosby off the books?
That's interesting, isn't it?
I
don't remember seeing anything like that.
The only thing that I can remember in my mind is when the Lakers traded for Luka, and then they made a trade with the Hornets for a center. I think his name was something Williams, and literally like 24 hours later, they just canceled the entire trade because of a failure.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's the only thing. And like, the Hornets were trying to make the Lakers pay for that in some way, but like they just got away with it scot-free. So very, very strange happenings. But I guess that is on
Lakers
defense.
Will do that.
Lakers are gonna fuck with everyone and have no remorse. But back to football. New England signs Romeo Doubs. What do you think about this? This, I think, is probably the biggest news of the day.
I think it was the biggest news of the day, and I was hoping he'd get a good landing spot, and that's probably, with what was left, as good as he was going to do, I think.
I would agree. The only thing I could kind of think of that might be better is like I guess it's really hard to think of any other spot that's like where you can compete for the wide receiver 1 role other than San Francisco, which went to Evans.
Right, and that's because there was rumors that Evans going to New England for a while too. So once he went to San Fran, I was like, well, doesn't New England have to do something? You feel like their wide receiver room, it was okay, but it was definitely something they'd want to add on to, and probably not in the draft where they'd be picking.
This sours my AJ Brown trade optimism to go there. I doubt that would happen. I mean, maybe it could still happen, but I doubt it.
It could still happen. I just feel like the Eagles have so much money tied up in that, and nobody wants to take on that contract.
I guess so. I mean, if you're desperate enough, you might be willing, but I see your point. Definitely now, I'm less inclined to believe that. I don't really care about Geno joining the Jets. Like, if anything, Geno might not be the starter in the fantasy playoffs as they tank. Like, this kind of means nothing to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Jets. I kind of have a pretty hard fade on the Jets and the Dolphins right now. They just don't seem like they're doing anything that's going to make them do anything other than tank for a quarterback next year. Well, I mean, the Malik Willis signing for the Dolphins, they paid him for 3 years. But outside of that, I don't really know what their plan is.
My understanding is like after the second year, they can definitely cut him and not be on the hook for anything. And it's basically like the Justin Fields contract, just scaled up for this year's cap. And if it doesn't go well, then they will move on next year. But do you hate it for like Achane or Waddle, or do you have it like any optimism? Or you said you're
just because
kind of
Malik
fading
Willis,
them pretty hard.
He just always like Achane's okay. Like I don't really worry about Ollie Gordon or Jalen Wright that much, but Malik Willis is more of a downfield thrower. So I don't know that, and especially without Mike McDaniel running that offense, I don't know how that's going to work well with Achane.
Yeah, definitely some cause for concern. I could see Achane trickle down into the mid-second for a little bit, but he's just so talented and like clearly their best athlete. It's hard to imagine he like falls past Saquon or like Kenneth Walker. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
would
think middle of the second would probably be as far as you'd see him fall.
Yeah. So maybe we can scoop up that value hopefully over the next month or so as we get some clarity, but he might just stay where he is. I don't see him moving up, but then I also don't really see him falling down very quickly.
Unless people want to bring Kenneth Walker up past him. That's the only other thing I could see.
I guess
he's been going crazy.
Yeah, people are getting a little bit overboard with him. I took him at pick 17, I believe, yesterday, so like 5th pick of the second round. And just because there was a big run on the position ahead of me, I was like willing to do it, but I kind of felt like it was a little bit too steep. Maybe pick 20. I'll take a stab.
Maybe maybe closer to the 2-3 turn than the 1-2 turn.
Yeah, definitely would feel better, but maybe his new price is just pick 14, pick 15. That is possible.
We could also see a gradual fall over the summer. Like, remember, he slipped. Wasn't there like an injury concern with Achane last year, and he slipped into the middle of the second round for a while?
A little bit
towards the back half of the second.
I think that was mainly the year before that. I think maybe his like second year price was a little too steep for some people, and it was like, are we really sure that this guy can stay healthy? And then last year it was kind of confirmed. So I think once they moved off Mostert, I think he just became a late first. And he's never really moved off of that. But 2 years ago,
Ollie Gordon got a couple carries around the goal line and stuff, but it never really felt like his losing, him getting 70% of the snaps was ever in danger.
Yeah, if anything, they just went more run heavy because the Tyreek and Waller injuries. But BKGG saying Jalen Wright, ! And Malik Washington, ! I do think Malik Washington's an interesting click around 2019. I will acknowledge that.
Especially with Malik Willis now, just because Waddle seems to operate more in the intermediate and shorter underneath routes. So if you got somebody that, gets downfield, and he's a burner, so it would definitely match up with Malik Willis's skill set.
They do give him some rush attempts on occasion as well. He's kind of a gadget guy. I liked him coming out of college. It's just taken a while for him to break out. But Hartman says Crosby got surgery in January and just got off crutches in the last few weeks. Ravens must have had buyer's remorse because Max couldn't have passed a physical with his injury. Very, very legit. Surprised they even made the trade in the first place. But I guess they just didn't know. Also says Achane had a week or two in September where he fell up with injury concerns, but it wasn't very consistent. He seems to have shaken that concern a little bit last couple seasons.
Yeah, definitely. It's usually something like, remember the Jamar Chase thing where they were talking about he was holding out a couple of years ago and he would fall randomly towards the back of the first, like to the middle, to the back of the first round. That's when I feel like you buy into this stuff, because it might only happen for a week or so and then it's right back to where it was.
And like when you consider the players at the top of ADP, like in the top, I guess you can say even like 30, 35, top 3 rounds, the difference between 1 and 2 picks of value is so much better than like even 5 picks in like round 6. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Once you get to once you're out basically the first 5 rounds, if you look at it like from a DFS perspective, you're really only a couple $100 difference in players.
Yeah, very, very worth keeping in mind. But Jamie says, "What's up? Just got off work, about to smoke as well." We might not be smoking later, but who knows? Maybe draft 2 will get a little different. Let's hop in for our first draft. Let's pull up I'm going to do a big board today.
You want to have some fun? We'll do a bigger board.
We'll save the bankroll for just a little bit later. But big board for sure. And let's see if we get the location here. Now we're all set. So 4 spots left. If anyone wants to join, now's the time. Hopefully not waiting too long. But while
location error is always such a mystery to me, because Underdog's always checking your location, especially when there weren't as many states that it was legal in. And most people that are streaming this are hardwired. So how in the world are you giving me a location error?
I know. It in general, you see like the map icon active when you're using it. And even when it is active, you'll still get the location error some random times. We get pick 5, a bit of a tier break at pick 5. Do you have any preferences at pick 5?
I mean, if if somebody falls before that, then obviously I would take one of the other ones, but it's usually JSN in that range. I could see taking Jonathan Taylor possibly or Christian McCaffrey, but I'm pretty consistent with taking JSN there.
Yeah, I've gotten cute a little bit lately just to mix it up and see what happens. But in general, I think with some of the recent prices, I do kind of like early receiver in round one. I think from a floor standpoint, just like a trust level, a bit more than some of those. Like once you hit RB3, I'm genuinely not convinced we're drafting it correctly. I think there's so much really that we don't know for sure in terms of who is the correct RB3. But I do recognize Napball in here at 6. He's behind us by 1 pick, so might be getting sniped at times. I also see Ladies First in here at the 12. She drafts in my lobbies quite often. Sandra over there. And then if anybody else is watching, we only had 4 spots available, so let us know if you're in here with us, but otherwise can't say I do. Do you see anybody else?
I don't see anybody else. I know that's what I was trying to dissect as well.
Napball for sure. We are toe-to-toe with Napball, but Puka's either the click, he is not, or I'll just stick with you on JSN.
Yeah, JSN for sure.
Vamonos.
I think I like that pick better there just because of what will come back to you in the second round.
We also now have the opportunity of taking Kenneth Walker pick 20. Like we mentioned, like that's a price I'm more in on. And
Right.
to mix him in with another 3rd round pick, not as common as, the teams that were drafting a week ago. There's not as many like hypothetical Ken Walker and AJ Brown teams, hypothetically.
Right. And you'll have different combos than whoever had Kenneth Walker probably down here in the 3rd. Like they'll have somebody like they might have another running back or something in between that. But you'll, like you said, different combinatorial matchups.
Yeah. And we might be getting the wrong discount. It's possible that whoever was drafting a month ago had the right combination, but it's also possible that that player they were getting in round 2 is going to get hurt and just not go off in week 17. Like it's just the variance, but so many different eligible possibilities. It's interesting that Lamb and AJ Brown and Amon-Ra go off after JSN, like 5 straight receivers. Haven't seen that too often.
That was the other thing I was going to say was to pull up Amon-Ra was the only other one I was thinking about, just because, I mean, how consistent the guy's been. Lamb's got competition with Pickens as far as what their pricing is, because Pickens usually goes towards the 2-3 turn. J-Mo's a little bit further down, and Amon-Ra, he's just been the focal point of that offense. I think it'll be a lot more Gibbs this year, but Amon-Ra, I feel like he's going to hold his value for sure.
Either Lion in round 1, whichever one you end up getting, I think is such a locked in safe pick. Like there's really no bad outcomes I can envision for either of them.
Especially until they improve their defense, you feel like they're just going to have to keep playing in shootouts.
Right. That's definitely huge. The bad defense for sure. I like the Drew Petzing hire. I'm not going to lie. Like what it did for Michael Wilson down the stretch and Jacoby Brissett when they actually had a competent gunslinger mentality at QB. Like the Cardinals didn't have great personnel up and down the board. The Lions have a better, just skill set at every position, maybe except tight end. And then the offensive line's better. I like the hire for Amon-Ra and just everyone overall in Detroit.
Especially Sam Laporta. You saw what he did with Trey McBride.
Yeah, absolutely. Laporta, all he needs to do is stay healthy. But like you were mentioning, worth noting on HN, he falls to pick 15 behind Ken Walker at 14.
That's kind of what I noticed Walker and then saw HN go right behind him.
Is that too high for you? How do you feel on that?
Which one, Ken Walker?
Yeah, Walker.
I mean, it's the Chiefs offense that they still need to work on their offensive line, but he probably will get with who's behind him. I would think he gets a lot of volume, especially with Mahomes, rehabbing and having to until he's healthy and running around like Mahomes will do. He's probably going to get quite a bit of work.
Yeah, definitely a valuable offense to be in. Other than the Seahawks, I would say that's probably the best case scenario, in terms of upside. But I could also see them. London goes. How do you feel about Jeremiah Love? I mean,
the
Saints.
One of the 2 running backs there, I would definitely be interested in either Henry
he fell 5 picks. I say we go Jeremiah.
Totally agree.
Let's do it. Take the falling value.
That's one of the things where you'll get a different combination there where if Ken Walker doesn't get bumped up there, he might not fall back to you.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if this is just the new price on Love and Walker's that high, then my exposures will start to flip in favor of Love.
Where do you
But
think Jeremiah Love ends up at?
now I'm hoping for Washington, but I'm starting to be a bit more convinced that it's the Titans. And then there's like just in the back of my mind, a slight chance that it's the Giants. And that would be kind of annoying.
I'm kind of starting to think the Giants were really just smoke screening the whole deal about wanting to take a running back.
Definitely
Just with
possible.
so I think the Titans definitely, the Commanders would probably be the better fit, but maybe they get rid of Tony Pollard or something. The Titans.
Yeah, I'd imagine Tony Pollard's getting cut if that's the Titans click. But we are on the clock, like we mentioned. AJ Brown is on the board. I do like AJ Brown.
For me, it's AJ Brown or Josh Allen there.
I've currently adopted the mindset that I am happy to take Josh Allen after ADP. Anytime he's after ADP and he's falling, I'm just going to scoop him up, and then otherwise, I'll just like leave it to whoever's there for like the structural integrity. But
totally agree.
You don't have to convince me on AJ Brown. And I've noticed Allen's been falling a bit lately. I've been getting Allen at pick 32, 33 a lot lately. I think I'm currently like up to now like 12.5% Josh Allen. I kind of like it. I think it's a good strategy. He goes there at 33.
Right. And that's where I've seen him mostly is either right at ADP or in the next 3 picks all the time. He never really makes it to the end of the third.
No. And I think anywhere in the third, he's fine. But currently, just to like try and keep pace that's not egregious, I'm like, I'll avoid pulling him up, and every time he falls, like just let him fall onto my team, onto my roster. That's good.
ETN went the pick after. That's something worth noting.
And then I think even more interesting, Egbuka went 31.
Yeah, that's pretty decent price on him with Evans out of town.
This is the first time I've seen him actually pulled up to the third, but I was taking him anywhere in the fourth. So I'm happy to see that.
Because he usually is on the left side of the board in the fourth, right?
Yeah, he was often going around like our next pick 44 to 47.
That's what I thought.
I would rarely get him in the fifth, but for the sake of changing it up, I'd be willing to take him like pick 38, 39, 40 sometimes.
Right, different combinations there too.
Yeah, and like last year, once we were into like week 5, week 6 playing DFS weekly, like Egbuka was a top 5 receiver taken depending on the slate. It was
pretty crazy how hot he started and then fell off later in the year.
At this price, though, I might start pivoting to taking a lot of Chris Godwin.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with him and Baker going in the same range, you can usually stack them right next to each other.
Yeah, now it feels like you're going to have to take Godwin round 8, which I wasn't taking him very much in the 9th round. I was only taking him like late 10th. So I'm compared to my other Bucks shares, I'm a little bit. Whoa, Tootin goes at 41. This is an interesting
start there from the 8 hole.
Yeah, this is an interesting.
He's one I've seen rising up too, because he was at like 70 before all the free agency stuff.
And now Travion goes. Yeah, Tootin was at the early 7th round just a week ago. So we're going to get a good value, I think, coming back down. Do you want another receiver here, or do you like Loveland, Javonte? I don't have
the receivers or Colston Loveland. I like Colston Loveland there too.
I do like Colston Loveland a lot. I'm
willing to purposes. Let's take Loveland.
Okay, let's do it. Something just
I do like JMO there too.
ESPN with its massive delay on the notifications telling me that Max Crosby
a half hour later.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ESPN. You're so valuable. Loveland feels like a great pick in the 3rd, honestly. Like,
I mean, if you're not going to pay up for McBride or Bowers, we saw what he did down the stretch last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a good spot.
And I also feel like in the first 4 rounds, I never hate my team when I use one pick on like an elite onesie, whether it's Allen, Loveland, or like one of the 2 tight ends. I don't like it as much with McBride or Bowers, but like I'm never looking back at round 4 and being like, damn, I passed on such an elite value for Loveland when like you consider what can happen for Loveland. I think he's the biggest benefactor of that DJ Moore trade.
Oh yeah, totally agree with that. Probably him or Luther Burden for sure. That's what we'll have to watch as the Burden drafter is to our left if we're thinking about Caleb. There goes Burrow
I think if Rome is here, he gets taken. That would have been
that's
valuable
asset.
asset. Do you ever go Lamar and Loveland, or is that a little too steep for you? What are you feeling? I could go Carnell Tate.
I mean, I never hate Lamar in the 5th just because I think Carnell Tate's interesting there.
I think pick 53 on Lamar is pretty solid, though. I'm willing to go Lamar.
Take that. Yep, that's fine.
Someone took Burrow ahead of him. I like that. Just Lamar Jackson QB3 in this lobby after ADP. That sounds pretty good.
The guy after us is probably not happy about the Lamar pick.
But absolutely, Napball getting pissed. But for the integrity of the draft, let's let that not happen.
Yeah, and I mean, anytime you get the elite quarterback, and like you basically, if you want to look at Lamar and Josh Allen as pretty close to equal, you're getting a 2-round difference almost between the two.
Yeah, and especially once you tell me Lamar is now QB3 off the board, like with the premium you have to spend at quarterback these days, like we wait one more round, we might be getting QB10. You know, like it's that significant of a fall off.
That's why I think we really need the draft to happen, is to push up some of these our skill position players and push the quarterback prices down some.
I want to like hammer that into my mind when we get to the next contest after, you know, this one closes, when we're after the NFL draft, because once it cuts down to 18 rounds, people don't justify the 3 quarterback builds as much. And that just is going to devalue the position because less guys get drafted. And the adjustment you got to make early on, I don't think is like adjusted to collectively quick enough.
Right. And I feel like you can, like you said, you can justify that 3rd quarterback a lot more when you have 2 extra picks to spend at the end.
But that's where I think Josh Allen and like Lamar, like these super early guys, are actually that much more valuable because like their price is not going to change in that setting. You know, like
no, it's not going to be a whole lot different.
Yeah, maybe he moves down 3 or 4 picks, but he's still round 3 at the 3-4 turn. You know, like you're not drafting him 2 rounds later when it's only an 18-round draft. So that's where I'm fine taking him in these 20 rounders, because it's like everybody else is paying a premium on their quarterback. I'm just paying the regular price.
That, and like you see, the 12 hole went Jaden Daniels, Herbert back to back there. So you're paying, you have to spend 2 picks to, you know, try and make up or get your volume that you want at quarterback there. Now he did have Ladd McConkey, so I understand the Herbert pick.
And Hampton. He's going double receiver.
I might not have taken Jaden Daniels there. That's just me.
That feels a little excessive, especially to pull up Herbert. I've seen Herbert fall, but DJ Moore goes pick 64. The Allen drafter passes and gets rewarded. But to pull up Harrison, it's the same thing.
Yeah, not much different there. That's true.
Harvey goes. We are coming out the clock. Swift almost circles back, but watches get sniped. Yeah, indeed, getting sniped. I don't think it's worth it to go elite double QB. Do you like Jordan Tyson here or anyone else?
Well, probably Jordan Tyson. Let's just lean into the rookie, the mystery box, and see what happens.
Any argument for Tyler Warren
or DK? Any of those 3 I'm good with.
I'll take the value on Tyson. I feel like DK could circle back given like the Pittman signing.
I like the correlation is what I was thinking there with Lamar.
Yeah.
But we also have now later on Michael Pittman if we wanted to play with the Steelers any.
Yeah, I think they feel like they could be going back to back, and I wouldn't hate it. So at this point in time, I might just prefer the cheaper Michael Pittman.
I would think Pittman's the clear 2 with DK, but I don't know that he would be significantly worse stat-wise by the end of the year.
Yeah, I kind of see it as like maybe a Tyler Lockett to his to DK Metcalf, kind of in Seattle, where like the hype is definitely on Metcalf, but if you actually like watch the game, you don't see that much of a difference between the two in terms of like end of season production.
And you just got to keep DK Metcalf from going off the rails and going into random opposing teams' stadiums and punching fans in the face.
Right. There's always that. I mentioned Tyler Warren briefly as a possibility. I wouldn't have probably lobbied for him too hard because I've seen him fall, but I do feel like that trade with Pittman helps Warren a lot.
I feel like he's the clear winner of that trade currently.
I mean, there's the money they gave Pierce, but is Pierce really just like talented enough to be like a true number 1? I'm not sure.
I think he more hits the big plays than anything else.
Yeah, they play different roles, and like Pittman I would say is a bit more like similar to Tyler Warren. Who do you like here?
Okay, DK went. So
We're a little thin at running back.
I mean, Jalen Warren's okay. I wonder how much he's going to move towards Dowdle.
Would you be interested in Ricky Pearsall at all lately, or no? I feel like Warren's probably the best.
I feel like Warren probably, just because I feel like that's going to be more of a split, and Pearsall probably will fall further with the Mike Evans signing.
Yeah, I've seen Warren fall a little bit further, but never like a full round. So I'm willing to take him.
Right, because I think it'll be ugly when it comes back at running back.
Yeah, I think that's probably a position of need for a minute. Is there anyone who just signed that you're like most excited about? Like,
I was looking in that range. I think currently Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt's like the biggest winner with what's happened. But like we said, if Jeremiah Love goes there, then that probably just nukes his value too.
Yeah, I kind of still believe in Rachaad White over JCM if I'm betting on a Commanders running back.
He's kind of the one where I'm wondering where he's going to sign. Like, I wonder if he goes. What was the one I was thinking about earlier where it'd be interesting? What if he went to the Jags?
That would be interesting. That'd be a big wrench in Bishal Tutin's upside. I think that would make sense, honestly. I don't think they're like a team that's poised to like just lean into Bishal Tutin exclusively.
No, it doesn't seem like it, does it?
No, it seems kind of fool's gold to assume he's just the clear number one, and it's only March 10th.
With especially as much as much as LaQuint Allen was playing last year as well, I could see them, but I could see that being a three-headed backfield.
Yeah, LaQuint, pass catching specialist, Tutin mainly a goal line threat last year, but not catching many passes. I just don't know if he's good enough to fully replace ETN, and then what he was offering them as well. Like, I don't really know what to make of his exact value at the moment. I kind of want to wait and see what it settles on. If you're telling me he stays at 41 like he was in this draft, I'd rather go Javonte or DeAndre Swift 2 rounds later.
Absolutely. I'd rather have pretty much anybody, even Quinshon.
Quinshon, I'm starting to warm up to a little bit. I've been
just with their signings, they feel like they're going to try and, actually give him a competent offensive line to run in front behind.
Yeah, he's also healthier than I think I gave him credit for, but at least by the time the season starts, I don't think it'll be lingering any longer.
Yeah, we got to remember the season's still 6 months away.
Yeah, as some other names start to move up, I do think Quinshon in the 5th is more appropriate. But Swift, if he keeps falling to the mid 6th, I just don't get it. Like it's a bear. Really?
In a Ben Johnson offense that had probably the best year of his career last year. I get that my non-guy's there, but it doesn't. We've seen when Ben Johnson was in Detroit have multiple running backs that cleared where their pick was worth.
Yeah, I've kind of refused to click Monangai, and now that he's falling, I feel very vindicated. But both are falling, and it doesn't quite make sense to me. Like, they're not bringing anyone in. They lost the center, I guess, but their O-line was pretty good last season.
I think it's more of a product of everyone else moving up.
It sucks that we have Loveland a little bit because we can't take the falling value on Fannin, I guess, here, unless you really want to.
I wouldn't want to take that second tight end.
Me neither. There is Pittman still here.
Pittman, yep, that's what I was thinking.
Our running back still there kind of got shanked.
Yeah, and I don't like going another tight end yet, so I would take Pittman there.
Let's go Pittman. Don't mind it at all. Yeah, a full 19 picks after Metcalf. I think just getting the cheaper of the two feels right. I mean, the Pitt man goes to Pittsburgh. That's got to be good, right?
No, I mean, it damn near fits his name, doesn't it?
They definitely. I believe his like experience against them. I'll pull it up separately and show you in a sec once it's ready. But I'm pretty sure him against Pittsburgh has been some of his best games of his career as well. Like, there was one where he got concussed after just like dominating them.
Maybe it was something that was destined to be.
Yeah, maybe they remembered him beating them so badly, and they were like, "Let's make sure we never have to cover Michael Pittman again. Just bring him in.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about running into him in the playoffs."
Yeah, but I think that helps Aaron Rodgers for sure. He needed another weapon. Kenny Gainwell leaves, so a lot of targets are available. I don't hate it.
I like Jalen Warren there too as the pass receiving back. I think that's better for him than it is Dowdle.
Who do you like here? We have Quentin Johnston falling, but I got a ton of him I could pass.
Yeah.
Running back
Godwin.
We want to pull up Gainwell?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, Gainwell's fine there.
Actually, you said Godwin. I like Godwin, honestly.
Yeah, give us our fifth receiver. I feel like we're thin at running back. That's why I was thinking about Gainwell there.
I think we're just going to have to hammer it for a while in
the
coming rounds, but getting Godwin there as like a security fifth, I think makes it a lot more comfortable.
Especially having Tyson, the rookie.
Yeah, definitely a gamble with him. But our receiver room is loaded at the top with JSN, AJ Brown. We have Tyson, Michael Pittman, and Godwin for some solid depth. And maybe Godwin is just the best Buccaneer to click right now. That's definitely possible.
Yeah, it's definitely him or Buka for sure.
I do like McMillan as well from a value standpoint.
Definitely. He was one I was hammering earlier that I feel like the Mike Evans trade will help out because we saw him have his rookie year? I believe that he had a pretty good year, and then last year he had like a neck fracture or something like that, so he was out most of the year.
Yes, he would have been so much more involved had he not fractured his neck. But I believe as a rookie, he either had 7 or 8 touchdowns. I think it was 8 in only like 13 games. He also missed a little time as a rookie and just like really, really closed the season strong once Godwin went down.
Yeah, the Bucks offense was really all over the place the last couple of years. Like it was like in pockets where guys were going off and other guys were cold. So it's like any piece of it that you can get. And Baker's just a dog. I feel like he just makes that offense work, regardless whether or not Liam Cohen's there or not.
They are slightly at the mercy of their offensive coordinator. Like I don't think that Todd Bowles really has any inkling on like what that side of the ball is doing. And so it
definitely doesn't seem like it.
It's just like they had Canales, who was great. Then they lucked into Liam Cohen, just a correct decision. And then once Cohen left, it's just like, well, we're hoping we get the best guy possible, but like there's really no guarantee.
And it seemed like last year they really took a step back.
For sure. They were just so injured last year as well. Like just Tristan Wirfs alone staying healthy is going to help them tremendously.
Absolutely. You think we're in a spot where we'll have to hit some running backs here?
I think so. The teams, there's a team at 3 with only 1 running back. There's a team at pick 1 with only 2, and they are probably going to pull up some names accordingly. Right. If I had
especially since we've got 5 wide receivers.
Yeah, I think we made the right call leaning into your Godwin suggestion because since that has happened, no running backs have been taken. So everyone but Gainwell, now he goes off, is left available. But
let's see where we're at here.
There's Coker, who I don't hate, but running back, I think Jordan Mason speaks to me.
Yeah, Jordan Mason definitely with Aaron Jones out of town.
I don't hate Dobbins either. Which one do you want?
Jordan Mason, I think, for the time being, because we still don't know with Dobbins and RJ Harvey what their percent workload is going to be.
That's fair. At the moment, Mason has no competition. So I
just try to lean into what we know right now.
I agree. I think they're both really comparable. I have more Dobbins when he was like pick 130. So I'm perfectly fine pulling up Mason at I think a fair price.
Right. It seems good especially because we don't know what their offense is going to be yet, who the quarterback knows. I mean, there's obviously Kyler's the betting favorite to end up there, but we don't know exactly how it's going to play out yet.
I still have some optimism that it's Rodgers, honestly.
I mean, that could be. He's another quarterback that we don't know his decision yet.
That's where I think he fits this team. If we take another Viking hypothetically, because like we have both Jalen Warren, Michael Pittman. So like I think Rodgers is an interesting candidate for us later down the line.
Yeah, definitely, especially with all the rest of we don't know where Tyson's going to go, but the rest of our quarterbacks that would match up with the wide receivers are gone.
Yeah. This team goes Kyler and then goes Dobbins. Definitely kind of what I expected.
Fair enough at that range.
Yeah. And then this team will only run one running back took Shuck. But what are they going to do here? I think we have to go running back again unless we're going to take like Darnold. But I do love Coker here. I'm not going to lie. I think Darnold goes off. I don't hate Tyrone Tracy at the moment, given they didn't bring in Ken Walker. I don't hate
Yeah, any of the three you have on the screen right there, I'm good with. Four
Honestly,
counting Mike Washington.
I think Coker's the best value, but structurally, Tyrone Tracy, I think, is my preference. What do you think?
Yep. I'm cool with Tyrone Tracy.
Okay, we'll go Tyrone.
I kind of like to stay a little bit balanced in the builds currently because you can really get boxed out of one position.
For sure. I do think this price on Coker is a pretty legit value, though. Like wide receiver 50 overall. When he spikes, he can hit the top 25.
Right. And we don't know what the Panthers will do in the draft, but I would say it's a safe bet. They probably don't bring in a receiver unless it's in the later rounds. I could see them taking a tight end early, like if Sadiq's there when they pick.
That's pretty legit. Yeah, that's a good landing spot for him.
Because their tight end room, I mean, it's when Tommy Tremble's the one that's been going off. When the tight end goes off in their offense, it tells you where they're at.
Yeah. So I think the only thing that might crater our team so far is if Jeremiah Love does get drafted by the Giants. That would remove our Tyrone Tracy value. Because
it would, but he also gets passing work as well.
That's
like
true.
We saw last year when Scadabo was out. Not that Love doesn't, but he would. I think he would still have a role. But yeah, with Scadabo there, it could definitely hurt us. I just don't think the Giants are going to draft him. I think it's Tennessee or Washington.
I think so too. I hope so, but you know, the Saquon Barkley experience, you know, I think still kind of lingers with them. But Scadabo was good enough where they have the hope where I don't think they need to force it.
No, I don't think so either. And especially if he's healthy. Like his biggest thing was just is he going to be able to stay healthy? Looking at how he plays and what happened.
Yeah. Do you think we need to get in at quarterback again soon? Or
that's what I was thinking when it gets here. We might have to. If Cam Ward's there, he's definitely in play because we also have Jeremiah Love in the event that he goes to the Titans.
That's very legit. They could also hypothetically take. Nah, they're not going to take Tyson. Never mind. Tyson's going to fall much later than that. Do you ever pull up Mike Washington?
Oh, I have been, and that's not the worst spot. What pick number will we be at?
140.
I mean,
he goes 137.
Yeah. That's usually where I take him, is in the 130s, 140s.
I will say Casey Concepcion is falling. He goes to nap ball.
I would say there you just take Cam Ward.
Any interest in Josh Downs, though?
It could be either or, but I would like to get our second quarterback before they're gone.
Let's go Cam Ward then.
And we could stop it too with them.
We could, definitely could. Now with the Wanda Robinson signing, the Brian Dable connection, I think Cam Ward's a bit more interesting. I prefer him over Stroud, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely feels like he has a higher upside than Stroud, especially what we've seen from Stroud in the last.
Yeah, I mean,
the playoff game just sticks in your mind.
Yeah, I honestly, they went 3-0 with Davis Mills. I don't think it's egregious. Like literally, I think didn't we hear Ryan Clark calling for Davis Mills to like come on the field at halftime in that playoff game? Like,
could it have been worse? Like they just looked awful.
Yeah, and it's not like he doesn't have weapons. Like they drafted Jaden Higgins, they drafted Jalen Noel, Christian Kirk went off in the first game. Like Nico Collins is fucking stud. Like they don't have a run game. Now they have Montgomery at least, but like, is it just their O-line or is Stroud just not as good as that rookie season would have made you think?
I mean, he was under pressure quite a bit and their offensive line wasn't great, but hopefully they do something to address that because it did not look good for him towards the tail end of the season. Jonathan Brooks was another one I would like to see get back there.
Do you care about Emmett Johnson at this price?
That or either Strange or Goddard there for our second tight end, because I feel like they're both.
We missed out on McMillan, so I think that's fine. I think Kelsey's going to rise. I take a lot of Kelsey, but you'd rather just take the faller on Strange or Goddard? Who's your preference?
One of those two.
I think Goddard is more talented, but I think Strange is going to stay healthy. I'm going to go Strange.
That's fine. Yeah, especially in that offense.
I mean, if they don't do anything,
likely would have been another Thomas. Interesting one there. I forgot about him. I knew he was going to be right in this range somewhere.
Travis Hunter, you said?
No, Isaiah Likely.
Oh yeah, he's pretty interesting. I feel like he's much more valuable than Theo Johnson, but if I don't have Jackson Dart, I'm not like dying to pull him up too far.
Right. Totally agree. And Strange, we've seen it. We've seen him have the spike weeks.
We also got a good value full round discount on
Yep.
on Brenton Strange here.
We could also think about if we want to backstack Cam Ward here with any of his receivers. That'll be coming in the next couple rounds.
I think that's probably a pretty solid strategy. Gunnar Helm seems like a minor winner at the moment.
Yeah, and he'll probably be there in like the 19th round, maybe 18th. We might have to pull him up.
Yeah, we can wait on him for a bit for sure. And there's still some other options. We could always go with Rodgers and Freiermuth hypothetically too.
Right. And we have Pittman as well.
Yeah, good Steelers investment. I feel like this section of the draft is starting to get a lot more sharp. And like if you don't have the receivers you want, you're going to get sniped a lot of time. Like that's where I kind of thought about maybe going with Downs, Cooper, or Jalen McMillan instead of Ward, because I was like, I don't think we're going to get the best value coming back, but we got great value on Strange, so it all works out.
Right. And Cooper's definitely one I like taking in that range. Same with McMillan and Concepcion. Just the mystery box of it. Who's to say the Titans don't take one of those two in the second round?
Very fair. Yeah. If they're on the board, I think they could be going top 40 early round 2. That's where I think some teams might be waiting to draft receiver and passing in round 1 a lot, just because the like depth at the top of the second is going to be really good. But if you also let them hang around for those late playoff teams drafting 25 to 30, that's also not what you want to do. So,
and a lot of teams might have other needs like on the offensive line or defense that they need to address, and they feel like they can kick that into the second round. Like it's not as pressing of a need for them.
Yeah. I've heard that like the top of round 1 and like some of the best value in round 1 is definitely on the defensive line as opposed to other positions.
Yeah, totally agree with that. We saw what the guys did at the combine. Like the safeties and linebackers were awesome.
All right, we're about to be on the clock. The new price on Woody Marks, have you ever taken this low or not even interested? Because we could just pair up Tyjae Spears. I don't hate that. I don't hate Aaron Jones. What do you think?
I don't hate Aaron Jones in that range either. Just because, I feel like he should have a spot somewhere. After this, we might want to hit receiver.
I would agree.
We'll see what comes back to us. I've got an idea. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Also, I like your overruling Aaron Jones over Tyjae because we're kind of trying to make the bet that Jeremiah Love is that running back.
That's what I was thinking. I don't really. I mean, it's not the worst range in the draft if you do handcuff a guy. Aaron Jones is another one that could potentially end up in like Jacksonville.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, Seattle's still open.
Seattle's still wide open. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's such a huge value. Where like getting someone that's still a free agent right now is actually super clutch with that potential landing spot.
Yeah, when George Halani's your starting running back currently, it feels like it's pretty wide open.
What do you think of Charbonnet? Do you ever feel compelled to pull up Charbonnet now? Or
I mean, he got hurt so late in the season,
right?
That I feel like you could take him in this range where it's not, somewhere down here would be okay. But
when I'm betting on the clock, I don't hate
Calvin Ridley.
I can't go Ridley, honestly, man. I personally
can't do it.
I think bringing Wanda, I'd rather go Chimeri, but Pat
whatever
Bryant
you think of that value or DK, either one. Pat Bryant's fine.
I think because we have Ward, I'm more inclined to go DK.
That was the reason I was thinking Ridley, just because what we've seen him do in the past. But DK was good down the stretch last year.
Ridley, I think, might get cut, if anything.
He could get cut.
Like, he was just so bad, even when he was healthy, and then he just couldn't stay healthy. I feel like organizationally, they're moving on. Like everything.
It feels like it.
He was brought in by that old coach that it was just such a bad situation. Like, I think he could.
And that's what I kind of wonder too. Was it just such a bad situation where he checked out?
Yeah, I've seen him fall like precipitously, but could he maybe sign with somebody else and be a good value?
That's the other thing too. Yeah. See if he comes back, maybe we could take him there.
What if hypothetically, like he gets cut and then signs with the Falcons? Like goes
Falcons,
back.
They do kind of have a vacancy in their second
right?
wide receiver slot, don't they? Because it's just Pitts and London that you're thinking in the offense outside of Bijan.
That was a spot I was really looking at, and maybe they just draft someone and it doesn't matter in free agency. But that's where, like, when I saw Jahan Dotson for like 2 years, $7 million, I was like, I mean, it's something.
They did at least sign someone that we've seen do anything at all. They also don't have their first round pick, which is interesting.
Right. Yeah. That could be a weird because he was drafted by them and everything has gone so bad with the Titans. That's where, like, I feel like there's still money on his contract left. He might just sign for league minimum because no one really wants him. Like, he's interesting, but I've never clicked him.
I don't think I have either. I was just thinking it because we actually were in the Jeremiah Love and Cam Ward thing.
Right.
But I think DK, they're probably a similar pick in that range.
Honestly, I think if he falls to like the 17th, I might be willing to take him, but at ADP, I'm probably not going to do it.
Right. I totally understand your reasoning there.
What Tank Bigsby goes, my boy, at 183. I didn't want to lobby for him because I felt like it wasn't what the team needed.
What's our build currently?
We have a 2-5-6-2. Our receiver room is JSN, AJ Brown, Jordan Tyson, Pittman, Godwin, and DK. So I think we need another couple. Helm goes off.
Yeah, he would have been the thought there.
Honestly, I don't hate Trey Harris. I kind of want to push Ridley one more round before.
Yeah, we can do that. What about with our third quarterback? Did Rodgers go already?
Rodgers is there. I'm fine with Rodgers because of our build. You want to take Rodgers?
Do we need it? Let's take somebody else and push Rodgers around.
Let's go Trey Harris.
Yep. And if we have to settle on two quarterbacks, that's fine with who we have.
I like his breakout potential, and I also feel like the team behind us with only 4 receivers, along with the team at the bookend, also only has 4 receivers. They mostly have quarterbacks settled. I think if there's one position they're not going to take is QB.
Totally makes sense to me.
But
I think if he wraps back here, then it's a good time to take him.
We have 4 rounds left. I think the team we have, given Jaylen Warren is our RB2, I think we should be taking 7.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So 1 QB, 2 running backs, and then I feel like our tight end room is done with Strange and Loveland.
Yeah, unless we get somebody a good value in one of the last couple rounds.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the build doesn't totally need it, but if round 20 we still have a good spot, then I'd be willing to do it. But I kind of wanted to go Helm, maybe Freiermuth. Now that we have a Steelers,
that would be the other one I was thinking was Muth.
Okay,
depending where their ADPs line up with where we're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll check that. I'm open to Freiermuth for sure.
Where did DK Metcalf go? I guess that's what we should figure out.
He went to the team at pick 1, who has already 3 quarterbacks did pass at this turn. Went Naylor and Ridley. But
that is an interesting spot.
Receiver is getting pretty thin.
What do you think about Nick Singleton there if he makes it?
I'd be willing to push him, honestly. I've seen him fall. Okay. I'm willing to go Rodgers here.
Yep, if you want to take Rodgers and get our third quarterback, it totally makes sense with the build. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, the Pittman, Jaylen Warren, I'm willing to get. Also, I feel like with Cam Ward as the 2, I'm a little more comfortable with the 3.
Right. And you had a good gap between when you took Lamar and Cam Ward.
Yeah, I think that was a very balanced approach to QB with the elite option and then the high floor with some spike week values. I like the balance we took at QB prices.
Right, absolutely. You spaced it out throughout the draft. You weren't like didn't spend 3 picks in a row at quarterback in the 7th, 8th, and 9th rounds or anything.
Yeah, I've done that before, and it feels like a mistake.
It definitely does. You feel like you miss out on too much positional value.
Yeah, because it's like, well, now I'm hoping that one of these early picks doesn't hit my lineup very often.
Not only that, you're guaranteeing yourself a 0 from at least 2 of those spots every week.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't feel wise, even if you have like an elite trio. Like when I did it, I had like Burrow, Herbert, and Mahomes, and it was like, well, the value on Mahomes, I should be taking this, but this is clearly the wrong pick for the team.
Right. I feel like the quarterbacks you either take 2 before like round 8 or you take 3 spaced out throughout the draft with the 20-round drafts.
I don't like taking 2 like where Rodgers is my second and the third is like Kirk Cousins or something. That feels a little bit wild.
It feels a little bit thin,
Mm-hmm.
especially because we don't know where necessarily Rodgers or Kirk's going to be yet.
Yeah, we could get zeros out of both if Cousins is just like Purdy's backup or something. Like,
oh, that
would
awful.
suck.
Do you think they're going to trade Mac Jones? I don't think they're going to. I think that's why they were asking so much for him.
Well, I think if they could get, let's say, Cousins on league minimum or Kyler on league minimum, then the market for Mac Jones, like if you get a 3rd round pick for that, like, yeah, I would do it. I doubt that'll all happen. So I would just project Mac Jones to stay there.
I think they were asking more. The thing I saw was that the price was astronomical. I don't know what that means. If it was like 2 seconds or something.
At least a 3rd and maybe a day 3 pick or something. But yeah, I probably wouldn't pay that either. Given
Seems
we're
like
on the clock.
Do you want to take Muth here and get our 3rd tight end?
I think receiver is so weird, and this side of the board is thin. I kind of prefer Flournoy.
Also, Iamaner stacks up.
He
One
does.
Of the two, yeah.
You want Iamaner or Flournoy?
We can go Flournoy just for a little bit different build since we're already betting on the guys that we have on Tennessee.
Right.
I think he's a good pick there.
That's our 8th receiver as well.
I think we're probably good there at wide receiver.
I
don't think
so
we need
too.
it.
We got the JSN AJ Brown up top. I think we're settled in pretty fine.
Yeah, I think we're all right there. And then if Muth comes back, he comes back, and if not, no worries.
Yeah. We have 3 picks left. We mentioned the running back desire. It's getting thin. So what names do you like this late at running back?
This late, let's see. Damon Claiborne's okay. Emmanuel Wilson's another one where I feel like he could get a spot where we've seen him have good contingent value.
At the moment, I feel like he's most likely just returning to the Packers. The way that they operate, they don't usually pick up.
Well, they paid Brooks too, didn't they?
Yeah, but Brooks sucks. Like
he definitely. Emmanuel Wilson looked like the better back.
Yeah,
who's to say he couldn't go do that in another offense?
Right. Do you have any interest in Holani? I never take Holani.
I never do either. I mean, if you want to play into what we know right now, I suppose that's the way to do it. But you could probably get him. I don't know. Do you think he'll fall all the way back?
Well, here's my thought. Freiermuth goes. We only have 2 picks left, and we kind of wanted 7 running backs. Should we go running back here and then just reevaluate tight end in the next round now?
Yeah, that's fine. I would like Damon Claiborne there, or
I like Claiborne.
Yeah, he's probably I think that's the click right there.
Any interest in Caleb Johnson, or now that they have Dowdle, I have no interest in that at all.
No, not really, especially with us having Jaylen Warren already.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do that there. Would have been nice for Moot to get back. Then we could have just, figured it out at the last.
Yeah. I have kind of ignored the chat for a little bit, but let me just pull up suggestions real fast. We had Hartman a minute ago, like over a half hour ago. Sorry, Hartman. Where would you take Pacheco now? He goes round 16. I kind of wanted to get your take on if this price is fair to you, or you think that's legit or not.
Is that where he went? Was in the 16th?
Yeah, 1 pick at the position behind Bigsby at just running back.
Okay. I mean, I feel like they're going to add somebody probably in the later rounds, but he could definitely be a goal line back for them. As much, I think Gibbs is probably going to get like 75% of the work there. But
yeah,
they might take him out like in some goal line situations where they just don't want to run him, bang him into people and get him hurt.
At least just on the surface, if you're telling me I'm getting the Lions handcuff, then I think that's a fine click right there, because everyone else is handcuffed too.
David Montgomery role.
Right. Yeah. Whatever that means for Pacheco and his, his broken leg.
I just feel like they're going to bring someone else in, whether it's watch it be Emmanuel Wilson or something.
Yeah. I thought they were a good spot for like Brian Robinson or someone like that.
Yeah. Somebody that complements the skill set of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm-hmm. Felt like that could be underrated, but he's a tough runner. At least he'll give 100.
I mean, he runs like he's mad at the ground. That's for certain.
That's for sure. Who Hames? Grillin has some priorities. Cowboys interested in trading for Matt Crosby still? Probably. Wilson says, "What's up?" Huham says, "Get your guys." I'll pull up the ADP. Who you want at running back, and then if there's any tight ends as well. Kalani goes.
I think the one I was thinking about that range is Brashard Smith.
Definitely interesting. I also think Jaden Blue is kind of interesting because Javonte is not the safest guy to stay healthy. I don't have interest in Mixon.
I don't have an interest in Mixon either.
Jordan James a little bit interesting, but that could probably change.
I mean, you can pick any of those guys, and you're not hurting my feelings. Chris Brooks as well, because I mean,
you know who I think isn't terrible? Ty Johnson, that nobody ever talks about, but whoever you want here is fine. 7 seconds.
Ty Johnson's fine. We could take that.
I kind of feel like he has the same value as Ray Davis.
Yeah, they're pretty similar, and I mean, it's he seems to get a lot of the passing work too, just random.
Yeah, when he hits, it's on like a house call 60-yard reception. Like he had 5 touchdowns last year, and like it's either 0 or like 12 plus.
But that's the game we're playing, so you want those big plays, you know?
Yeah, I'll mix him in for sure. I don't hate that at all. I think it's unique. It's not off the wall. It's not crazy.
No.
It could be terrible, but I could have also maybe lobbied for Justice Hill. I
took him earlier. I got Lamar to fall in the 5th and couldn't find a way to stack him all the way through the draft. I didn't really like Tez Walker or anything, and I got sniped on Mark Andrews, so I took Justice Hill with the last pick.
That wouldn't have been terrible because Keaton Mitchell's not with them at the moment.
No, he's free agent, I believe.
Yeah, I know Hill got a little banged up last year, but
I took him once earlier. I told that would have been extremely justifiable to me as well.
Yeah, 42 catches 2 seasons ago, then got a contract extension and got hurt. So might be an interesting click, but we do go Ty Johnson instead. I don't hate it either. No,
I don't hate that. And that kind of ties up the running back room.
Yeah, I think we needed 7 with Warren as our second. So full recap, we go with a 3-7-8-2. Out of the 5 slot, we go Lamar Jackson. 5 picks past ADP. I thought it was 7. Cam Ward, right in line with ADP, and then Aaron Rodgers about a round pull up, but we did have multiple Steelers to justify it. We go Jeremiah Love, pick 20. Nice discount there. Jaylen Warren, minor discount as well. Jordan Mason, we pulled up. We felt a little desperate. We took Tyrone Tracy a little high as well. The desperation was kicking in. We took Aaron Jones, 164. Damon Claiborne and Ty Johnson, so a little unique with Ty. And then receiver feels super strong with JSN, AJ Brown, Jordan Tyson, Michael Pittman with that Rodgers combo. Chris Godwin, just a good price, I think, these days. Pick 101. Chimeri DK for the stack. Trey Harris for a potential breakout. Also 11 picks past ADP. And then Ryan Flournoy, I think he's fine in that range. Loveland and Strange. I think the tight end room is fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine with 2 there, especially paying the premium on Loveland.
Yeah, I think we worked out okay. Maybe it would have been nice to have a Lamar Jackson stack. We just don't have one.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but we also have the Steelers for division correlation, so it's not the end of the world.
Right. They did have a bit of a shootout in that second half last time we saw them.
And I mean, Lamar, he's got a floor every week of just him rushing by himself. So if you have your spike week from either the first round pick from last year or Aaron Rodgers decides to go vintage Aaron Rodgers, then he's got more weapons. He has the capability to do it, I guess.
I also feel like losing Isaiah Likely isn't like the best situation for his passing upside. And like when he is going to spike, it's because he has like 80 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns or something, you know, like,
right. Definitely agree.
Yeah. We don't need to stack him up. I'm not going to be too upset about that, but perhaps if we could have targeted a stack,
where probably would have been Mark Andrews, I would think.
I almost pulled up Andrews, but we got such a good price on Strange. I didn't.
Right. I totally get that. That makes sense.
But I think it worked out well. Maybe we get Aaron Jones in a good situation, and our running back room doesn't feel as thin. But I think if this holds with the Giants not adding anyone, Tyrone Tracy's not a bad click at all.
No, and especially if we're saying that Jeremiah Love goes to Tennessee, then that probably means the Giants don't draft a running back high.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. I think we got
a kind of a fragile running back room, but one that can absolutely still work out.
Yeah, especially I mean, if what if Aaron Jones goes to Seattle? Like,
Right.
there's still some open spots where players could go. And so, Aaron Jones, he's a little bit older. Maybe he just goes there while they're waiting for Charbonnet to get healthy.
Yeah. There's at least like early season production locked in for whoever they bring in. That's like guaranteed.
And you feel like Jaylen Warren, if Jeremiah Love takes a little bit of time to ramp up, I feel like between Jaylen Warren and Aaron Jones, hopefully we can get enough production to carry us into the playoff weeks.
Mm-hmm. Two Meals in a Cart is saying Sean Tucker to Seattle would be cool. Also good for his bags.
I was kind of surprised Tampa let him go.
I never felt like he was just like so elite that like they would miss him entirely. Like I know he is a valuable asset, but like other than like 2 big spike weeks, he's never like really contributing consistently. Am I wrong or
no? I think you're right. But what surprised me was, like you said, we've actually seen him do it, and they were letting Rachaad White go. So the fact that they let them both go was why I was kind of curious why they did it. Because Bucky, he's a little bit fragile himself.
That's fair. They did. I mean, Gainwell's not bad. I don't mind Gainwell at all.
That I think that was a good signing for sure.
If Bucky can really be the, what we thought he was going to be last year, he did get hurt. That was kind of awkward.
Right. And I mean,
they'll be okay.
That happens.
I think they'll be okay. Do you want to review? Let's see. We had Napball in there right next to us. Let's take a look at his team real fast. And then maybe ladies first we'll check out. And then you sent me a spreadsheet that maybe we can go over just briefly, but we'll do a couple team reviews first. What do you think of this one at the 6? A 3-7-7-3 with Bo Nix, Malik Willis, and Tua. Running back Travis Etienne, Swift, Dowdle, Sean Tucker, Pacheco, who he pulled up, Devin Neal, Seth McGowan. And then at receiver goes Lamb, London, Flowers. We sniped him on Lamar.
Sorry.
Then he goes Waddle, Parker Washington, Concepcion at a solid price, and then Travis Hunter to finish it off. And then Ferguson, Schultz, Chigokonkwo. What do you think?
Tight end room's good. Receivers are good. The quarterback is probably the thing I would worry about most, but other than that, it's a solid team.
Yeah, running back, this Pacheco is interesting, but I kind of feel like the Devin Neal and McGowan clicks are just like not going to help him at all.
And he pulled up ETN and got the Swift, value on that.
Yeah, not bad. I think it's just so reliant on those top 3.
Absolutely. But like we said, Sean Tucker, if he finds a home, could be Seattle, and then that team's pretty good.
Yeah, that would be a saving grace for sure. The receiver room is pretty good though. Like really,
the receiver room's good,
really strong. And then
kind of curious what Travis Hunter ends up doing.
Only thing this team is missing is Dak Prescott at QB. Did he get sniped? Where did Dak go? Pick 74.
Maybe went to the Pickens. Was Pickens over there?
Yeah, I went to the Pickens team, unfortunately.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But he pulled up. Yeah, can't pass on Swift there to pull up Prescott, I guess.
No, I don't think you got to take Swift and hope he makes it back.
Yeah, luck of the draw. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but not terrible. I mean, Willis as the 2 and Tua as the 3 is just really uninspiring. But Nix, I can't decide. Do you like the price on Nix?
He's easy to backstack. That's what I like. Is all of his receivers are pretty cheap, and he's got the rushing upside. Not like an elite quarterback, but he's like Baker. You know what I'm saying? He'll get you some rushing floor.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, with RJ Harvey is interesting too because he really doesn't do much on the ground. It's more out of the passing game. So if you can, I feel like Nix he's at a good price. He's right where he should be.
Yeah, it looks like he got sniped like multiple times on like good values. Like the run on QB with Dart, Purdy, even Mahomes ended 1 pick before him, and then he just took the best name in the 9th. I think a very fair.
Yeah, after that you can see how it falls off.
Yeah, got the great values up top. Just got a little unlucky with QB. But
that's these rooms, especially right now.
I mean, I still think it works out pretty well. Like receiver is just so strong. I think it can cover him if Nix just actually works
Yeah,
out.
receiver and running back are strong. Tight end room is definitely serviceable. It's all about the quarterbacks on that build for me.
And now let's take a look at ladies first, who did pull up the Daniels Herbert combo. Did they take a third? No, they didn't. Okay, so it should look pretty solid. We'll move on after this team review for ladies first. But Daniels and Herbert at QB, Cook, Hampton, always love that. Rashad White, Kimani Vidal, so the Chargers handcuff. Keaton Mitchell, Nick Singleton, not bad. And then receiver T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, Addison Wandale, pulled up Wandale, Juwan Jennings, Debo Samuel, Jeremy Bernard, like him, Malik Washington, and Dontavian Wicks, with a little sneaky trade possibility for him. Has been rumored, but probably not going to happen. And then tight end Gadsden with the stack, Kelsey at ADP. Haven't seen that in a minute. Been seeing Kelsey pull up to like the 130s quite often. And then does go Dawson Knox. That's interesting.
He signed today.
He did.
The thing I was thinking about in that is he's got multiple outs with, if Debo goes back to Washington, Jeremy Bernard, like he's got ways that Daniels could stack there.
Yeah. Even Juwan Jennings,
Juwan Jennings too hasn't signed anywhere yet. So he's definitely got outs to it. I like it better that he stopped at 2 quarterbacks with the price he paid on the 2 he took.
I also like the Rashad White gamble to go to Washington as well. That's
kind of the same bet we made with Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Like that, just that he finds a good landing spot.
And Rashad played with Daniels at ASU. So like there's at least a little bit of a hope that you can justify. But
that's what I was looking. I was looking in his receiver room to see if he took Ayuk.
Yeah, that would have been fun, but didn't make that mistake.
Well, I mean, he's another one played with Jaden Daniels, and there's been rumors of him going to Washington as well. The
only time I'm willing to take Ayuk these days is with Jaden Daniels for that like hope and a prayer, but otherwise
I've done it once or twice.
Yeah, it feels gross, but okay, not bad. I think it's great that they stopped with 2 QBs. To do it that way and just stop is definitely the way to go.
Yep, totally agree.
Okay, so you sent me this this spreadsheet. Let me pull it up. We can maybe not spend like forever on it because there's a lot of information, but like let me know. You're the one who made it, so let me put us on the side here, and then it
just basically shows like each team who their conference division that they play, their opposite conference division they play, their conference opponents that they play outside of the division they play in the conference, and then their non-conference opponents. So like if you had tiebreakers you want to make, or like when you're divvying up your correlations, like for instance, I don't know, I just know off the top of my head, the Panthers play the AFC North and the NFC North. So they play both the North divisions. So you always got those teams that you can think about when you have Tet McMillan or something at the top of the board.
Gotcha. That could be a tough defensive schedule, though. Maybe not as much
for sure.
North.
And that's AFC, why I think the NFC North, I think, has a good schedule this year because they're going to play the NFC South. So you're going to get Tampa, Carolina, Atlanta, and New Orleans. So that's why I think that the NFC North teams are in a good spot this year.
Yeah, that's pretty legit. When you sent me this, where my mind also went was like win totals and maybe like who might win the division based on like some of like especially a division that's like really close. Like take the NFC North specifically. What popped out to me when I like skimmed this, I think the Lions are probably poised to win the division because of these like unique opponents. Like they're the only one in division that's going to play Arizona, the Giants, and the Titans. When you look at Chicago, those games are Philly, Seattle, and Jacksonville. Those are much tougher to win. When you look at Green Bay, they have Dallas, the Rams, and Houston. That's a tough slate. And then the Vikings have the Niners, Commanders, and the Colts. Like none of that compares to how easy the Lions trio of Arizona, the Giants, and Tennessee. Like they're going to go 3-0 in those matchups.
It's definitely a fourth place schedule.
Yeah, the Lions, I think, are definitely poised to win. They finished tied for 4th with 9 wins, and like that, I feel like is a very obvious bounce back with those 3 unique opponents.
Definitely seems like it, don't it? I was looking through. Is there any other ones that stand out on there that are?
I didn't you sent it to me maybe like 10 minutes before we went live, so I didn't go over everything, but I did obviously look at my Chargers. I was not happy with the unique opponents. They get Baltimore,
That's
Houston,
tough.
and Tampa. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are rocking with Cincy, Indy, and the Falcons.
Man,
That's
that
some
seems
bullshit.
pretty manageable.
Yeah, compared to the Ravens, Texans, and Bucks, that sucks. The Raiders get Cleveland, Tennessee, and New Orleans, so that's going to be fire for Mendoza.
Boy, the Raiders, that kind of makes me think about Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers a lot more, huh?
Yeah, that's really nice. And then even the Broncos who had a first place schedule, like this isn't that bad. Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and Carolina. I think that's easier than with the Chargers, Drew. Like, damn it. I was fucking pissed to see that, man.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't seem like they have the more favorable schedule there, does it?
No, definitely not. But then they also play the AFC East. We got some big automatic wins against Miami and the Jets.
Miami.
And then the NFC West is not good, but at least you get Arizona. At least there's that. So, yikes! Not great for my Chargers. Not gonna lie.
And yeah, what Huham said is right about random opponents. It's not random. It's they cycle year to year, and it's based on where you finish in the division.
Exactly. Yeah. Fourth place plays other fourth place teams, one out of conference, and then only those like these divisions that you're pointing out in conference division is the same across a specific division. They'll face off against the same one, and then they'll also get one out of conference one as well.
Right. And then your other two that are in your conference are obviously the other two teams that aren't in the division that you're facing that finished in the same playoff spot as you did, or division spot, I guess.
Yeah. As I'm skimming this, another one that stands out to me, I was kind of just looking for like fourth place teams. The Titans. I think this could be really dope. The AFC North, maybe that's not the easiest, but they do get the Browns. And then they get the NFC East, which has, a little bit of randomness to it, not the most obvious good or bad matchup. But then they get the Jets, Las Vegas, and then Detroit, which at the very least is not a great defense for, some good.
Yeah, that's
upside.
another interesting one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Brian Dable, I think, can really cash in against the Jets, the Raiders, and the Lions.
The 49ers seem like they could have, outside of the AFC West, they could have a good schedule again.
NFC East, that's, like we said, a bit there's 4 wins there automatically. AFC West, that one's tough. That's actually kind of tough. And then Atlanta, Minnesota, Miami. I mean, Miami's an automatic win, but
yeah, the NFC East could be tough, but you feel like the Niners could manage that.
Yeah, they should be in okay shape. If they go at Minnesota, though, they always historically lose at Minnesota.
Yeah,
I'm worried about their injury risk with the Niners this year. That's my only big red flag with them.
And the electro substation out by their practice facility.
The substation compounds everything. I mean,
that's why it's like, oh, Mike Evans, what are you doing?
Exactly. Plus, you got to pay all the California state taxes. Like he could have made out with a lot more money just to. But I guess he wants a ring. He wants a ring.
That makes sense. I didn't realize the taxes there are as crazy as they are until I looked at Matt Stafford's contract and what he actually makes when he brings it home. I was like, oh my goodness.
I mean, compared to Tampa, night and day, right?
Right. Totally different for Mike.
Okay, let's look for maybe one really tough one that might stand out. I mean, Panthers getting Philly, Seattle, and Denver. Holy shit.
They're gonna win 5 games.
Yeah. That's the most obvious
division. And the NFC North.
Yeah, that's brutal. Holy shit.
Yeah, I feel like them winning the division was like the best thing for them for 1 year, and now it's going to take them 3 years to get back there. Tampa
wound up with Dallas, the Rams, and the Chargers. That's not the easiest. Both LA teams. We also have what the Falcons. They're at the top here. San Francisco, Washington, Kansas City. That's not great. So then that would just leave the Saints. Saints might be fucking poised. Arizona, the Giants, and Las Vegas. Saints, I think, are dark horse to win that division, man.
They definitely are. I feel like it's the Saints and the Panthers, probably. The Panthers have such a tough schedule, though. That's probably where they were bolstering up their defenses. They knew they were going to have to do something. They were going to win shootouts.
Yeah, I'm already convincing myself the Saints are going to be one of the better like over under bets.
And they beat the Panthers twice last year, and they look like they had bad games, but they had games where you're like, how are they not just a 10-win team?
Well, also like half the season was with Rattler instead of Shuck. Once they had Shuck, like the defense believed they could win. They really showed up like and delivered.
They felt like a totally different defense, didn't they?
Yeah, they had some spirit. They had some fight in them. I like the Saints a lot. That's a sneaky playoff team. And then maybe we only look at like one more. I brought up the Titans as like an interesting spot. What about their division? It's like always up for grabs. They are with the Jaguars, who get New England, Denver, and Chicago. That's tough. They can handle it, but that's tough. The Colts get Miami, Kansas City, and Minnesota. That's reasonable, but their quarterback situation's weird. And then there's the Houston Texans, who get the Bills, Chargers, and Packers. Yikes.
That's rough. That's probably the worst one out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, they do kind of own the Bills when they play them in Houston, but watch this game be in Buffalo and Josh Allen just wreck them.
Especially if it's late in the year.
Yeah, that's a very timing, location-dependent matchup for sure. They do own the Chargers, though. They've beat them twice in a row. All right.
Did they come out to L.A. the last time?
Yeah. Did I go to the game?
Yeah.
I was there, week 17.
Oh, that was the Jaden Higgins game, wasn't it?
Yes, I was texting you about that. I'll share it for the audience because you got a good kick out of it. So
that was funny.
Here, I'm just going to turn on an extra light, and I'll come right back in just like 5 seconds.
Man. I will be here. I'll hold down the fort.
Did I hit the 5 seconds on the dot? Something like that.
It had to be close.
So Jaden Higgins by like mid-July, like I think maybe a week or so after the 4th of July, became like one of my go-to options in the 9th, 10th round at that turn. And then he started getting pulled up to like early 10th, late 8th, or early 9th, I should say, late 8th. And I was still just clicking it like crazy. And then by the end of August, Jaden Higgins became a top 3 investment of mine at the position. I think I had
chased him up the board.
Yeah, like I think I had like 21%, and he fucking sucked. Like he had a few good solid games, but nothing with like over 60 yards and a touchdown. Like he had a couple like 12, 13, 14 pointers randomly that were like, all right, I guess I'm getting something, but it's nothing elite. And then finally, his best game of the year, I have tickets for. And not only does he score on like the 3rd play of the game, 63-yard touchdown, he does this like Santa Claus, like Santa's bag celebration, and like throws gifts out to the crowd, like behind the end zone. And I'm literally sitting in that fucking section, like 3 rows back, like of all the
people to do it to you.
And I obviously my only 2 like finals teams didn't have him on the roster, so I couldn't at least like feel good about it. No, just straight irony and like rubbing it in my face. This is very, very frustrating.
One of those life comes at you fast moments, right?
Yeah, he sucked for 15 weeks, didn't deliver at all, other than maybe like 2 okay games, and then just sticks a knife in me and twists on the first fucking drive.
He couldn't do anything for you all year, but then he's throwing out gifts to you at Christmas when he decides to actually show up.
Yeah, and then to make it even better, in that exact same end zone in the 3rd quarter, Oronde Gadsden had a tip pass, which turned into an interception that would have been at least a converted field goal. I also was sitting on the field goal that Cameron Dicker missed 2 kicks, like literally like the worst fucking spot to witness everything go poorly. But I'll be honest, that game was actually kind of inspiring because from like a crowd turnout standpoint, it was the best I've ever seen at a Charger game. It was almost like 80% Charger fans at that game. Is
it usually pretty split there?
It can be. Like if it favors them, it almost never goes over 70%. Like it's very often a 60-40, 55-45 split depending on the team. And if it's the wrong team, they can be in the minority as well. Like I didn't go to the Steelers or the Eagles game because the price is pretty egregiously expensive on those.
Right.
But I had to guess, like, there's a lot of Steelers and Eagles fans in LA. Wouldn't be shocked at all if it was 50-50 or even favoring those other teams a little bit.
And they're teams that travel well. So, you know, that like if they have any sort of a following where they can get tickets, they're going to do it. I noticed there when the Rams and the Lions played a couple of years ago, how many Lions fans were there. I was like, damn, SoFi can really like, it can get taken over by the opposing teams when tickets are available.
It's close to the airport. You could fly in and fly out the same day if you really wanted to. Like there's a shuttle bus that takes you there pretty conveniently. And like, it's harder to convince someone to fly out to, like, no offense, Denver, but like, let's fly out to the you know, the game against the Broncos, or let's make a weekend of the LA game. Like if you're only going to fly out and follow your team for one weekend, that's definitely a contender, like with Vegas, I suppose.
Yeah, it's probably a really easy sell. Hey, do you want to go to LA and watch the game for the weekend? Like probably not a lot of people lining up to say no if they can afford it.
Yeah, exactly. Compared to Arizona or Denver, like, no offense, I like Denver, but that's just the first thing that came to mind.
Or like Buffalo in the winter, like probably a tougher sell.
Yeah, harder to want to sit in the cold at Lambeau Field, you know, Christmas weekend than go to LA and watch the Texans Charger game.
You know what's my favorite thing? I have a confession to make. It took me way longer than it should have as an OG smoker to realize what your cutscene was.
You know,
totally.
I never gave verbal hints though. I wanted the people who knew to recognize it. So
that's good. I'm glad I actually picked up on it then. After a while, one time I looked at it, I was like, I know what that is. I've seen that look 1,000 times before.
Yeah, you see it from the opposite end. That's the only
right.
That's the only difference.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that was like the first like thing I recorded when I like decided to take the channel seriously. I was like, I need some like cutscene intro with like music and like something that makes it look a little official when I drop the title. And
I think you did a good job with it.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I had a glass like desk at the time, and so I was able to get that vertical shot.
That's how I was wondering. I was like, how did he even get that shot?
Yeah,
impressive.
I had to do a few takes because whenever I would like go to take the rip, I would move the bong around just like with my hands. And the one itself that plays, it doesn't quite stay fixed, but it stays close enough that I'm sticking with it.
Close enough that you can make out what's going on.
Yeah, if you're really paying attention, if you really are familiar enough, you'll understand it.
The stem is what sold me when I saw it. I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on there. And you know, especially with the name of the channel going in together with it, makes a lot of sense to me. Absolutely fitting.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah,
sure.
It was fun to make. I'm glad I have that. It's one file that I've made like a bunch of copies with, and if I ever lose it, I'm gonna be so sad.
Well, so then you'll just have to do a bunch of takes to recreate it. I mean, everybody wins then, right?
Yeah, but my cat broke that bong. So,
what's your cat's name? I see her on stream sometimes.
Yeah, her name is Leia. She trickled through there briefly, but not for long. Yeah, Leia the Bengal.
I noticed that because I've seen you with the Bengal outfit a couple of times before when you draft a few Bengals. I was like, this is definitely some top-notch entertainment here.
It's fitting. It definitely puts me on her good side. She's like, okay, proper worship.
You're one of us.
Yeah, and she always wants me to draft Joe Burrow, so give her an excuse.
Just don't do it egregiously before ADP, and I think you're fine.
Yeah, as long as it's in round 6, I think it's chill.
Right.
Are you ready for one more, my friend?
Yeah, we could do one more.
Okay, let's do it. Let's share this tab instead, and we'll hop into the big. Actually, before I forget, let me change the name of that one because this will also help me remember the next time around. Either you do it and it's like, oh yeah, I got to change the names, or
if
like
you don't do it immediately, you'll never remember it.
Yeah, I'm sure I would, because I'd be like, where's the one I have with Anthony? But
I'd forget. I'm not going to lie.
Let's get it in at the moment, and any profit we have, we are splitting, my friend.
Awesome.
We had Lamar unstacked on this one, so I'll just put Lamar.
Yep, that's usually how I do it. Try and name something Something that'll make me remember what we did.
Yeah. All right. I don't have a ton of Lamar. I've only been trying to get him past ADP as well, but I feel like I'm kind of too low on the investment in all honesty.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'll take Zay and try and push him, and then he doesn't come back, and that whole routine.
Yeah, but Zay's a good click independently of him, I think, too.
Right, and I don't feel like he'll be getting any competition. Well, I didn't think before the Max Crosby trade got canceled. Now who knows?
Now I think that AJ Brown trade is actually on the table, possibly. What if we end up with an AJ Brown Lamar Jackson stack?
That'd be wild, wouldn't it?
That'd be fucking awesome.
They do have the money now that they're not paying Max Crosby, right?
Yeah, that's what that team is gonna wind up with, an AJ Brown Lamar Jackson combo.
And then Zay gets relegated, and we don't feel bad about sniping the dude that had him behind us.
Exactly. If anything, he should have let it fall to us.
Yeah.
We're behind low-key sauced, so that should help us out.
He definitely fits the name of the channel, right?
Low-key, he does. We're also right next to Napball again. We're going to be sniping him one more time.
King of QC I've seen before.
Yeah, definitely recognize King QC. I see Bryson Anderson. I've seen him before. D. Lutomsky I recognize. Not sure if he's watching, but I do recognize.
I think I saw him in the chat earlier. He streams as well. Joe Burrow.
No wonder she fucking likes it. Romeo Dobbs getting paid. What's your exposure on Romeo Dobbs, by the way? Were you in on?
I wasn't taking him a lot. I probably read at the field, probably somewhere between 7 and 10%. I was hoping he'd end up somewhere, maybe like Buffalo or something, but New England's not bad.
Last couple weeks, I just started to commit to taking a shit ton of free agents as like the class isn't that deep, and like just on how much they're going to get paid, like all these names are going to move up. So I just started taking a bunch of free agents lately. I think I settled on like 13% Dobbs. I'm kind of happy with it.
Yeah, outside of the top roughly 3 or 4 wide receivers until you get to the bottom of the board, it's a lot of crapshoots that you don't know if they're going to end up on the Browns or Jets or, you know.
Yeah. The only thing that sucks about it, I only drafted Drake May 4 times, and I don't have a single Drake May Romeo Dobbs team.
I don't think he was one of the highest thought of places he was going to end up. So there's people that do have him, but I don't think it's super common.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Amon-Ra last time. Is that who you want?
Amon-Ra or McCaffrey there for me. Either one. I'm cool with either one.
I think Amon-Ra is more of a safe click. I'm more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, especially because the running backs will probably peel back around.
Yeah, running back round 2 right now seems like it's really strong with Kenneth Walker entering the mix.
And sometimes people go crazy and put Travis Etienne up there.
That I have yet to see. I've seen Etienne early 3rd, like pick 28, 27 before, but I've yet to see him in the top 24.
I think I saw somebody take him. Maybe it was in the around 20 or 21.
I'm going to turn on the backlight, but I will be back as well.
Absolutely. I will sit here and watch Ashton Genty, Amari and Hampton, Devon Achane go.
Are you in on Genty? How do you? I mean, now that they got the center.
That's what kind of sold me on it a little bit more was when they signed Linderbaum. That, you know, it's making an investment in probably your quarterback that you're going to take in the first round and the middle of the offense for your running back that's supposed to be a generational talent.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
No, I definitely. It's got to. Can the Raiders look worse than they did last year? I don't believe so.
No, I mean, just the fact that Chip Kelly's not going to call a play that doesn't exist is going to help as well.
My question is, did everybody on the turn there just spite me and take picks that I didn't say were going to go on the turn there?
Maybe, man. I mean, I've never seen London that high, but I don't mind it.
That's funny. No, I mean, I get it. Like, without target competition, there's Kenneth Walker again.
What is Napball going to do? Probably snipes us on Jeremiah Love if I had to guess. No, it goes Hampton. That's who I wanted to have. Now I don't care. Like I could pull up Henry. I could pull up anyone. Who you want? We could go Love again.
Any of those, or even Malik Neighbors. That'd be a little interesting.
Double receiver.
Yeah,
let's do it.
I feel like do something different, right?
Yeah, let's do it. I think Neighbors is a huge winner with all of the targets that Wanda Robinson leaves open.
Right, and his only current competition would be like Likely.
Likely Theo Johnson, and then like Darius Slayton, I think, is under
Right.
contract.
But nobody in the free agent market has come to take him competitions. I haven't started a lot of 2 wide receiver teams lately, so see if we can make it happen.
Not the most common for me either, but like if there's one receiver in round 2 that I really trust, it's Neighbors.
It would be him for sure. Even Nico, just given their quarterback situation, don't feel as hot about.
Yeah.
And he was like a 1-2 turn pick last year.
I think Pickens is also fine, but I also think he's going to fall because of the holdout.
Right. And he's got competition with Lamb, so it's like one of those.
Yeah.
It's 2 guys that go awfully high.
Yeah, if there's one that I think could overtake everyone and be like a top 2 receiver this season, it's Neighbors.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And we saw what he looked like, before he got hurt.
Yeah, as a rookie, he only played 15 games and he had 170 targets.
Right. And I don't see a whole lot that's going to change that currently, unless they take a wide receiver with if they take Carnell Tate or something.
That could happen, but I also feel like it's unlikely to happen.
I mean, they're kind of, it sounds like they're out of the running back competition that was going on, or at least they said was. So it would make sense. You give Jackson Dart. They're so young. They're so young as a team.
Zay Flowers went pick 30.
Let's see what's going on.
We could take Bucky falling. We could also take Allen.
I'm cool with either of those.
I think structurally, I'd rather go Bucky Irving at running back.
That's fine.
Let's do it. But we did get a fall on there. We did get a fall on Josh Allen, and that is the opposite of what I said I normally do now.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't you just say anytime you get Allen past ADP, you're taking him?
Well, that's been my stance for the last like week and a half, 10 days. And now I'm at like 13% Allen. So it's like, okay, I can actually afford to pass on him a little bit and see what his real price is. But Bucky Irving also fell there, and we just needed running back. So
Bucky has been falling a little bit since the Gainwell signing. I've seen him falling back more into the 3rd round there, where he was going in the 2nd before.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
No, I think it's a good spot.
But I think Allen there would not have been bad either. I just know running back
either of those 2 would have been my click for certain in that range.
Do you click Rashi? I don't.
I haven't been. I buried him at like pick 50 or something, and if he gets back, I'll take him then. But he never makes it back, so I've just not been worrying about it until we get some positive confirmation about him.
Yeah,
it's between him with his legal troubles and Mahomes on the mend. It just seems like a thinner bet.
It definitely isn't the reason why, but I hit the Q on Garrett Wilson hoping that he would just go. Just get the fuck out of here.
I was wondering, I was like, damn, does he really want to go Garrett Wilson here? I've got kind of a soft
if anything,
or a hard fade in the chat.
Is watching to snipe him. Do you like Javonte here? I'm willing to do it. I don't normally do it, but I'm willing to do it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that because I feel like the running backs kind of fall off after there. We could take 2.
Yeah, we get divisional correlation, the Giants and the Cowboys. I have very little Javonte, but I think the 4th round is fine for him.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
And I did not want Rashi. Loveland was off the board, so it was either receiver or Javonte for me.
The only other thing I was thinking there was J-Mo for the double stack with the Lions.
Yeah, that could work out too. I've noticed I get sniped on Goff by the Gibbs team a lot, though.
By the Gibbs team, or somebody over here will take Laporta, and then you get sniped on him coming back.
Well, so often what ends up happening is the Gibbs team gets Laporta to fall to them at 95,
right?
The 8th round, and then they just go Goff at pick 98.
And you're like, great.
Yeah.
Go for some
doesn't
headless line stack.
But I could
see, and that's
go ahead.
That's where Rice usually ends up going. I have him buried in the 50s somewhere, and he ends up going somewhere over here on the side.
Yeah, he's kind of off my board entirely a little bit. Like he can fall to the 6th round, and I'm still not going to force click him. Like,
I mean, if he was in the back half of the 5th, I'd have a hard time not just because combinatorially you would have different,
I think if I'm still deciding between DJ Moore and Rashee Rice, just to stay on brand, I'm going to pass on Rashee.
Totally get it. It's tough with everything going on right now. It makes it hard.
Yeah, that team that pulled up Flowers does go Lamar.
I mean, that's kind of like what we were saying. You get Lamar in the 5th, it's hard to say no to in this, and then he gets pulled up to the 4th there.
Yeah, I think it's worth risking the Zay Flowers in the 4th and Lamar in the 5th rather than just pulling him up, because like we'll see what he takes here, but like, is it really worth the difference in price of like, let's say he takes Evans versus ETN, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But
he did also have Derrick Henry, so he had the whole
yeah,
Raven stack there.
Evans goes to fully loaded.
It's a good wide receiver room there.
Yeah, I mean,
prices
other than Rashi.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you think of Rashi there.
The thing about Rashi is he's either gonna be fine and like the legal troubles don't matter again. I like Brian Thomas here. Otherwise, who do you like?
Yeah, I think Brian Thomas probably. I don't know how much more he's going to fall, depending with the rumors.
I could go him or Quinshon. What's your choice?
Go BTJ. Go BTJ. We've already got, and it's just the Browns. I mean, I get Quinshon's he's been good, but it's the Browns.
I also like getting both of those LSU receivers, the Neighbors and Thomas teammates.
Yep.
Feels like good vibes.
If he doesn't move, it also opens you up to another quarterback.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think DJ Moore is a bad click here. That team with Allen gets sniped, but for ADP purposes, like you have to compete against DJ Moore teams that clicked him in the 90s.
Right. A lot steeper price to pay.
Yeah, Swift does get taken. We've seen him circle back, but not today.
No, because he was going in the 60s. We saw him last draft.
Yeah. Are you interested in like a quarterback coming around, or do you just want kind of best player available?
Let's see what the room leaves us. I think we might be able to push. What's Jackson Dart's ADP?
He's been going in the 8th round at times. I think we can definitely get him in the 7th.
Yeah. Because I don't think we need a quarterback yet, and nothing plays with our build.
No. I don't think we have to force it if we don't want it. But if Jaden Daniels is sitting there, I don't think it's.
He was the only one I was going to suggest if he makes it.
But if we could wind up with, because we have options in the 7th and 8th round, like we could get both Lawrence and Dart hypothetically waiting for us. But that team goes Parker Washington, so they're probably going to take Lawrence.
They spend it on Caleb, so they'd have to be stopping it too, probably.
Yeah, they might pull up Lawrence there, so they might pass. That team at 11, Bryson, has 4 running backs. That's interesting.
Yeah, especially because one of them won't make the lineup every week.
Do you want to go Daniels, or do you want to take a rookie in Lemon or Tyson, or then there is Harvey falling, but I still kind of don't love it.
We could take Daniels there if you want.
Or pull up Alec Pierce.
I think Daniels would be better than any of those with just the elite quarterback. Then you also have rookie wide receivers you could pair with them potentially.
Right. Let's go Daniels.
Or by some chance, Brian Thomas gets traded there.
I guess nothing's off the table, but that'd be
allegedly they're not shopping him, but we've also seen the Raiders or the Ravens back out of the Max Crosby trade today, so I'm not ruling out anything as a possibility.
Right, I guess anything's possible. Do you pull up Montgomery over Harvey? That's what just happened in this lobby.
I've seen that happening more lately since he signed, or at least right next to him.
Yeah, I don't think it's terrible.
No, I don't think it's terrible. Usually, I see Montgomery end up going to the Nico drafter,
right,
for the team correlation there.
I started pulling up Montgomery in the 7th, but then the 6th, I haven't quite done it. And then I started looking at some of the teams I have with Montgomery. One of my best teams took Montgomery pick 127. And it just feels like no team I'm drafting Montgomery in round 6 can compete with that team I drafted in like mid-February.
Right. And that's always the battle you're fighting. You're like, I know some guys got this player down here, but then you figure you also have to hit what's right in between it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I always play like whatever the price is the price, and you just got to build your team out accordingly after that.
I'm thinking we push quarterback one more round, whether Lawrence or Dart circles back. I'm fine with either. Agree. And then we also have the option of Goff in the round even later. So
right.
I don't hate Michael Wilson. If we take Myers, then Lawrence is even more likely. I also like Kraft.
Kraft would have been my thought there.
I'm down with Kraft. I'm perfectly
Gives
fine
us
with
another
that.
quarterback as well.
Yeah, I like that. I also
And
don't
just
hate
with
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard's. I mean, I would take Kraft here because we already got 2 running backs that are pretty serviceable, we think.
Yeah, we got a balanced starting roster. Only need the
And
flex.
Kraft unlocks Jordan Love for us too.
Yeah, that feels dope. I will turn off my air conditioner. Come right back.
You're good. Adam's got a lot going on over there. He's got to turn on the lights, turn off the AC, pay the electric bill, pet the cat.
There's a lot of rotating things in the background because you start off with daylight and then you need to turn on the light and then you realize you need one for the back and then 10 minutes later you get cold as fuck because the air conditioner is still running.
I wish I had to turn the air conditioner on already. That'd be nice.
In one aspect, it's legitimate. Here in LA, it is kind of warm lately. I think we ticked up into the 80s briefly. I think we're high 70s. But the problem I have with this room is the insulation is terrible. And as it bakes through the day, once we get to like 3-4 p.m., it's just like you better address it before it just kills you. Especially going live in the hot heat. It's not good.
Oh yeah, especially because I think today we actually got to around 60 today. So, but we won't have turned on the air conditioner here till probably June. It usually just doesn't happen.
Up in Michigan
went there as well.
Yeah, so we didn't get lucky, but we do have Daniels, which kind of covers us. It's not that bad. I kind of prefer Algier over Warren, in all honesty. I don't think it's terrible.
Monungai there as well.
I think I'd rather just take the value on Warren over Monungai because
we can go Warren.
89 is pretty significant.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Unless you prefer Dowdle, but I'm fine with Warren at this price.
We could take Warren again. It's not. They're going to move towards each other anyhow. He might fall some, but I don't think it's going to be egregious.
It is the cheapest price I've seen, so I'm willing to take it.
Right. And it gives us a pretty balanced build here already.
Oh yeah, and our receivers are so strong. Like there's still a bunch of names I like coming up. Like I like where we're sitting, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. And we could, with Daniels, stop at 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, at this point, the team with JMO and Laporta is not going to give us Goff. There's no fucking
Probably
chance.
Not. But we also have Jordan Love for Tucker Kraft if we need it.
Indeed, we do. I also like a lot of upside for the Packers receivers now that Dobbs is confirmed not coming back.
Right. You definitely have stacking opportunities with Reed and Wicks.
Which team has Watson? That's worth noting. Okay, the team with Lamar has Watson.
So we could get sniped there too.
We'll see. It's not the end of the world, but watch Jordan Love and Goff go 102, 103.
That's just the nature of these rooms right now. There's so many moving parts.
If it happens, we're getting a great price on someone else.
Right. Totally agree with that. There's just like with the way the board's moving around right now, there's always the possibility that something slides through somewhere, and the quarterback prices are just so ridiculous.
They are. It really does help to fade that for a while if you get the right combination later.
Right. Like they're just pushed up. Because remember last year, you could get like pretty much any quarterback you wanted between rounds 8 and 11. And it's not like that now.
All right, moment of truth. Pick 102 and 103. If not, who would you like?
I think Addison's fun there.
I think Wandale's interesting.
Wandale interesting as well.
I think
Addison might give us the best, like because we'd have Kyler then as a later. Him or Wandale, I'm cool with.
I have a lot more Addison than Wandale, so if it's okay with you, I'd like to pull up
totally
Wandale.
Cool.
Because it's right at ADP.
Cool with that. Yeah.
Addison, like I still fear his like decision making and like suspension risk, and then I also fear that just JJ McCarthy is what we're stuck with, and like even if it is Kyler, like I know people like Kyler and he's hyped up, and like I trust Kevin O'Connell, but like it's not like McBride was his best with Kyler. It's not like Michael Wilson ever did anything with Kyler. It took Kyler leaving to fix those like long-standing lack of breakouts that should have happened sooner.
Right, and it was with the fact that it was with Jacoby Brissett and not Kyler kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. Whereas with Wandale, like he had 140 targets like the last 2 years, and like I feel like there's nobody else on Tennessee that can like threaten him. And like right now, like you were saying earlier, was just leaning into certainty, knowing that he has Cam Ward attached to him compared to McCarthy as of this point in time. It just makes me a little bit more. I feel safer.
Right. Even though we're pretty sure they're moving on from JJ McCarthy one way or another, Cam Ward started to show his flashes at the end of the year last year. He's a number 1 overall pick. Like, it's just one of those things where you feel better about him being on the upswing versus a new regime in Minnesota or sticking with JJ McCarthy.
Well, with that in mind, I guess we're not going to be forced to pull up Kyler here. But if we had taken Addison, would you have wanted to go Kyler there at 113?
What's his ADP right now? I'm always looking at it versus ADP.
He's now 122.
Yeah, so I mean, you'd probably have to if you took Addison there, right, in order to get him.
Yeah, I'm willing to. I mean, we might get Blake Corum to circle back. That's interesting.
That is kind of interesting too.
He goes to Nap Ball. There's the discount on Price. We could get a.
We also have Jalen Coker there too.
I do like Coker. I'm not going to lie.
We could be some cokeheads. Even though it's nice and blunt, we could be some cokeheads right now.
The price on Jadarian, though, feels pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, we can do that too. It'll balance out the build.
Yeah, I would not have hated the Coker thing, but I think the way we've just been staying so balanced throughout this draft so far, let's just take the falling value. Like taking
I wonder where he'll end up.
Was a really like just safe click on the price. If that's his new price, I would take Corum all day long here.
Yeah, for sure. And Price gives us another running back that, depending where he lands, because man, there's a lot of range outcomes for him if he goes in like the 2nd or 3rd round.
Well, what I like about him and what we were talking about Seattle, where this kind of comes full circle, there's no way Seattle's drafting high enough to take Jeremiah Love.
Right.
But they have the last pick of the 1st round, and you know that he is not going to be taken in the 1st round. Like no one's taken the other Notre Dame running back round 1. It's just not worth the talent. But
if they do, it'll be the last pick of the 1st round.
Exactly. And who has that?
Right.
So like
and that could be a nutted landing spot.
Yeah, that upside, knowing that Price is like clearly the number 2 back in the class, like maybe people like Mike Washington over Emmett Johnson, over Jonah Colma, over Katron Allen, over whoever. Those are really the only names I think can lobby for RB3. But RB2 seems to be unquestioned Jadarian Price.
That I think so, but Draft Capital is going to tell us what they really think about those other guys like Mike Washington and stuff. I would think he's probably the 2, which is pretty crazy that they're both from the same team coming out of college. But I feel like it's really mixed up once you get into the 2nd round or end of the 1st.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard that like all of the people that cover the draft kind of say. It's like, oh, this draft only has 18 first rounders. And basically, if you have anything in the 20s, you'd rather have a 2nd round pick. So you either try and trade back if you can, or you do trade back and then it's a big, headline. Like I remember this was a second for a second, but the Patriots traded back and let the Chargers draft Ladd McConkey, and they ended up taking Jalen Polk like 3 picks later.
Right.
Maybe it should have just not traded back, but okay. Interesting price on Diggs here, but I feel like we could push him again. What do you want?
Yeah.
Balanced, I think, is the approach. Sadiq kind of speaks to me.
Sadiq's not terrible. Denzel Boston could also get drafted by Washington the 2nd.
I've seen him go later.
Yeah, he's that's at a spot that's interesting. So I'm totally cool with Sadiq there.
I kind of pulled the trigger on that one. So next one is your vote.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. I love Sadiq's an interesting one as well because he could end up at Washington too.
That's where my like blinker went off. But
Totally get that. That's understandable. So
Now
we're
that
definitely not taking a tight end again for a while.
I think we could honestly stop with these two tight ends, but
Yeah.
if we get Fryermuth again or Kate Otten, hypothetically, that's
Yeah, it
not
would have
bad.
to be somebody or Dawson Knox like in the last round if we just felt like tacking on a third.
Right. The Kincaid injury risk makes Knox a very viable click.
And we've just seen him get work around the goal line. Like he
Yeah.
has his spike weeks.
They're like best friends, him and Josh Allen, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Kincaid seems to operate more like a slot receiver than anything else. Like around the goal line, it seems like it's a lot of Dawson Knox and James Cook.
Yeah, big red flag I heard from Huhames earlier was like the fact that Kincaid opted not to get another surgery on his
Right,
on
makes
his
you
knee.
wonder.
Yeah, like now's the time. And if you're really going to just trust it to heal properly without the surgery that's being recommended that everybody else seems to get done, I mean, maybe long term that might be wiser, but like in the short term this year, I'm not as excited about that when I hear it.
Like you'd think you'd want to do that immediately after the season, as soon as you found out about it.
Right. I say whatever you want here is fine with me.
I think we probably need a receiver.
Darnold is there. Quarterback's about to thin out, but you want a receiver. Which one? I think Downs is interesting. Debo's interesting. Shaheed is fine.
Yeah, either any of those three.
I would lobby for Downs.
Okay, that's cool with me. He should be a winner from the Michael Pittman trade. Even though you could argue the biggest one's Tyler Warren, he should definitely be second in line.
For sure, because that's kind of the zone that Pittman operates in. Pierce just has a very unique, specific role that is very separate from Pittman. But what he leaves open is much closer to like the line of scrimmage, and
yeah,
like that's mostly Warren, but like Downs is just going to be the only one on the field.
Yeah, and doesn't it feel like they have to bring someone else in as well, like a big body, like an X or a Z receiver? Because Josh Downs, pretty much a slot receiver.
I'm sure they're going to draft someone. I could see like a Ted Hurst or maybe like
somebody who plays outside.
Yeah, someone that just has a 6'3" frame or something that is fast.
I was hoping Ayuk was going to make it back. I was going to lobby for him there with Daniels.
It's been a minute since I've taken him. Scratching the itch is not the worst thing when you have Daniels, but I don't think it's the right pick there. I think after like 170, I think once you hit round 15, I think it's totally legit. But round 12, I don't like Hunter either. Like some of these like just huge question marks. I feel like you're praying.
Huge question marks.
It's just a little too steep for me, man. A little too steep.
At least with Downs, like we said, you're operating with what you know.
Right. If we had Coker, this would be an interesting Bryce Young value for us. But I think
that's why I was thinking it when because we had Daniels, we were probably going to stop at 2 when it came up. But I don't hate the direction we went here.
No, I think we're good. Jonathan Brooks goes. We could go Bryce Young, but the teams behind us are also thin at quarterback.
You want to take Daniel Jones?
I kind of want to take Omar Cooper, but Daniel Jones is not bad.
Because we do have Downs, and it would be our second quarterback before they fall off the map.
Let's do it. We're probably not going to get Omar Cooper Jr., but I think our receiver room is so good we don't need Omar Cooper Jr.
Yeah, we can. I think we'll get by.
We got Amon-Ra and Malik Neighbors. Like how many?
That's what I'm saying. We spent the capital early at 2 of them.
Yeah, let's go Daniel Jones.
I just figured with Downs there and Bryce Young goes right after, it's probably there's gonna be nothing left
for sure. He's gonna.
That's what I thought you were setting up with the Downs click. I wasn't sure if you were thinking.
I wanted the option, but then I just didn't. It was on my mind, but I think I got a little thrown with the prices on Bryce Young circling back, where I was like, could we push Jones? And then I saw that Napball and King QC also only had one quarterback. So once you wanted Jones, it was like, yeah, let's confirm that.
And I wonder if we should tack on a third late. I think probably not.
I think we should.
So?
I mean, just Daniels is not the most. Honestly, I'd be fine Mariota. I'd be fine taking Daniels, handcuff Mariota, and just locking up Washington's quarterback.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Totally get that, because it might take Dimes some time to get back to full health himself.
Yeah, I feel like we can't afford any missed time from Daniels while Daniel Jones,
Right.
double Daniel.
Jaden Daniels Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Indiana Jaden, but
Indiana Jaden.
running back is probably a position of need. Emmett Johnson goes. I don't hate just pulling up Tank Bigsby, but we can probably wait.
Yeah, we can probably wait on that.
We can probably wait. Who do you want?
I don't know. You have to pick something here.
I like Hunter Henry. Tyjae Spears also like.
I was thinking that or one of the receivers there, Judy or Pat Bryant, but you're probably going to run out of time, so just take Tyjae.
Let's do it.
At least it gives us another, in the event that they don't take Jeremiah Love, somebody that might get a spike week in there.
For sure.
And you have correlation there with Indianapolis for the AFC South.
Yeah, man. We are at least, if we avoid the Jeremiah Love draft pick, then I think Tyjae is going to smash at ADP.
Yeah, he should be good with the price he's at. I mean, look at who's good. The only, like Emmett Johnson, we know the deal with him. Charbonnet, Woody Marks, like these guys are all kind of a similar feel to him outside of the rookies.
He's on the same footing as Tony Pollard. So, like, if I'm drafting a Titans running back, I want the cheaper one.
Right, and they seem to split pretty close to even.
Yeah, so either they're going to draft Jeremiah Love, and I would assume cut Pollard.
Or, yeah, probably.
Or it's the same thing we saw last year, and Dable likes to use multiple backs, especially one that catches passes. That favors Spears.
Yeah, definitely the pass catching does seem to favor him more.
I've been trying to buy the dip on Spears and kind of just ignore the falling price on Pollard.
That's fair enough. I get that. I think it's just a lot of uncertainty that they're not going to take Jeremiah Love with that pick.
It would make sense, though.
Totally would make sense.
Who do you like here? I feel like we could get it back in at receiver soon.
Yeah, I was going to say DK's fun there just for the divisional correlation.
I did queue up Tank Bigsby. I don't hate Njoku. I've heard some rumors about him replacing Goddard. But
if we do that, we're done at tight end. We could do that. He could also go to Washington.
That is possible. You want to do that?
Yeah, it's fine. And we know we're done at tight end. We just don't have to worry about that.
100% we're done at tight ends.
Plus, our receiver's strong at the top. We're not too worried about that.
This could be a 3-7-7-3.
That's what I was thinking as well. Our last quarterback, like you said, it could be Mariota. And then we could just figure out what any values that we get as far as wide receiver or running back in between there.
If we're going to take Mariota, would you entertain a 4 quarterback build, or do you think that's a little too rich?
I think with the capital we spent at Jaden, we probably shouldn't do that.
Gotcha.
At least that's my thoughts.
Ideally, we're not going Mariota. Ideally, we're getting someone else.
Right. I'm just saying if it came down to it, then you know that's your third. Just because you're covering your base there. If, say, Jaden Daniels misses a week somewhere in there and Dimes isn't ready yet. At least you're not taking a 0. It might be a 5 with Mariota, but at least it's not a 0.
Yeah. You at least just lock up every quarterback point in Washington. And we've seen Mariota offer top 10 upside when he fills in. He runs the ball, and like maybe the Cliff Kingsbury downgrade is not going to be the same level of return on investment, but like he knows the system. They're familiar with him. They wanted him back, like same coaching staff. The seamless transition, I think you know what you're getting with Mariota, and the only way to justify it is to handcuff him when like we have to wait on Daniel Jones. I don't think it's atrociously bad. Also, no one else is going to have Mariota if he's the guy in the playoffs.
Right. That's another way to think about it.
But round 20 or not at all.
Right. You're like, you really can't do it outside of that.
Yeah. So, okay. Bigsby did go to King of QC.
He just did that to spite you.
Well, that's at AEP, and I'm way overweight. So, like, I kind of, at this point, I feel like I've publicized my take on it, hoping that the price goes up and I get sniped sometimes. But Who would you like? Quarterback, running back, receiver. I like Brian Robinson a little bit. I like Tesla a little bit. I don't hate Adonai right now.
Any of those three, I'm cool with. Adonai's. I mean, if anybody's going to do it besides Brees, it's going to be him.
Let's Adonai.
Yeah, you can do that. You also have Geno Smith now if you wanted to do it.
No, we're not going to go Geno, but
it does give you something early in the season, like in the event that he starts, for potential in the event that he somehow scores Jaden Daniels while he's healthy. Or just if he's not, then you at least get a quarterback floor and somebody to stack him with.
We do get early season production if we go Geno, and that covers Daniel Jones. So maybe this is a Geno team, but I was laughing at Geno teams a few days ago. It would feel odd.
I still am, even if it's ours.
We can do better than that. I think I honestly prefer the uniqueness of the Mariota approach than Geno.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with whatever you want to do on that front.
Okay, so if we're locking in running back receiver with 3 of our next 4 picks, who are you liking here?
Oh, in that range, I mean, Elijah Surratt's interesting. Zachariah Branch, just because we've got such capital up top. Brian Robinson as well. Probably one of those 3 you got on the screen there.
I do like the idea of betting on rookies now. I do like that.
Or if you wanted to lean into the Jets thing, there's also Braylon Allen. I don't know how.
I definitely don't want to lean into the Jets thing.
Okay.
I don't take Adonai much, but at least knowing that they aren't going to be stuck with Fields right now, I do think Geno racks up the garbage time yards.
Definitely does.
Week 1, Geno threw for 299 yards against the Patriots. And that was when, they at least didn't know convincingly that they were ass. Week 1, Geno had something in the tank. So I could see AD Mitchell when Garrett Wilson gets fed up and demands a trade, being the next man up and offering some late season production that you just last season just get lucky with.
Right. Totally just luck box into it.
Yeah. We're so strong where I'm willing to afford that risk. But I do like your rookie idea. I prefer Surratt over Branch, but we'd be getting a good price on Robinson here. Pick 200. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm cool with that if you want to do that.
That feels like the best running back left on the board because we could still argue for a Seattle Seahawks landing spot.
Yep, totally.
We could get lucky. We could strike.
We're wish casting everybody to the Seahawks right now because
that's the only thing to give you hope.
The most obvious void.
Yeah, that's where a free agent and rookie offers. Somebody has that best case scenario.
Bernard was the one I was going to see if he made it back. I was going to make a suggestion for.
I do like him a lot.
Goes the pick after. I figured he'd probably go before he got back.
Huhame says on Kincaid, it's the same surgery he opted out of last year. The knee that also bothered him during the season again. Yeah. Perhaps not the wisest decision. I
mean, it seems like if it bothers you once and you don't get surgery on it, it's probably going to bother you again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm crazy there.
No, I think that's perfectly. It's a wise assumption there.
I don't know. We'd have to talk to Best Ball Guy about that one. He's the one that understands rehab and stuff better than I do.
Yeah, I had an ankle sprain once, and it was a bitch for a few weeks. But then once you're done with it, it seems like it never happened. That's at least how it felt. But
if I'm he's there, Jacoby Lane as well. What? Either of those two, I would like there.
Okay. We could scroll up for a different rookie, but I'm good with Branch here. I'm good with Branch.
I'm totally cool with that. Seems like a good spot. And we got our 7, right?
We have 7. Neighbors and Amon-Ra at the top is just so hard to take out of the lineup. We're not risking much if it doesn't work out with AD Mitchell or even up through Josh Downs. Thomas and Wandale feels really strong as well. We got a lot of flex contributions at receiver.
Right. And, Thomas is a little bit of little bit of a mystery box there, whether or not he's playing for the Jags or somewhere else. But we've seen what he can do when he actually is, a part of the offense that cares to use him.
Well, what if, like, obviously the odds are so slim, but like he did play with Jaden Daniels in college. What if he goes to Washington?
I mean, in the event that they trade him, it's a possible destination. I don't think anything that needs a wide receiver is out of the question for him if they're really going to move him. It just seems like they've been backing off of their stance so much that I don't think they're going to move him.
Uh-huh.
Could be wrong.
He seems like a fine click there if he stays in Jacksonville, though. But like best case scenario, he's somewhere else and he's back in like the third round. I
mean, he was a first round pick. Was it last year? Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the turn there.
So
okay.
Like, that doesn't seem like the worst thing ever.
We got 2 clicks left. Quarterback and running back would complete our 3-7-7-3, unless you have a different direction.
No, I would definitely do that. I think with the way this is built, that's probably the way to do it.
We got the late season points with Daniel Jones. Do you want to go early with Shedeur or Cousins? I like, honestly.
Cousins is another interesting one. I mean, if he ends up going somewhere, or is there a running back in that?
Well, they brought in Tua, so they have to cut him, right?
Yeah. So
they have to.
Where could he end up that he could get us early season? He could go to Pittsburgh, I guess, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play.
Or Rodgers goes elsewhere. He could go
back to Minnesota.
He could sign with the Colts on league minimum. I think he's going to be in the Kyler sweepstakes where it's league minimum because his contract is still on the cap with the Falcons.
Right. It'll be the same way like we saw with Tua and Russell Wilson.
I think that's for them to bring in Tua. They're not going to carry all 3. That's
no. It seems pretty crazy, but they do have both Cousins. No, they paid Cousins a ton. Yeah, I don't see why they'd keep all 3. They'd have to do something with them.
They have to cut him. Like if they didn't bring in Tua, then I wouldn't argue for him. But,
or are they just so worried about getting boned by the quarterback position? Like how they signed Kirk Cousins, then drafted Penix. Now they're like, we're getting Tua too. We're going to make sure of this.
The Falcons are going to choke with the quarterback decision, just like they did with Penix at 108 after signing Cousins. Like they're going to fuck it up. But lefty backing up lefty, get rid of Cousins, and just move on.
Yeah, maybe they'll see. Did they say they're going to straight up cut him?
I think we'll check it right after this pick. Who do you want at running back? I kind of am interested in Jaden Blue a little bit. I mean, we have Javonte, so like just to lock up his handcuff, we're guaranteeing the Cowboys RB1.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that's fine. You're not hurting.
James is interesting as well. Holani for the hell of it. What do you want?
Any of those 3. Yeah, if you want to do that.
Let's just take the guy
into what we know currently.
Yeah, that's what we've wanted this whole time. Let's just take the guy that's actually there.
I mean, it could be him and Brian Robinson for all we know, or him and Jadarian Price, and you have the handcuff later.
Yeah, just waiting for Sharps to get healthy.
I mean, you're spending no capital on it.
Yeah, I mean, I did think the Jaden Blue thought process wasn't bad, but I like the independent swing that just. Let's say Javonte stays healthy and Holani actually gets us a few touchdowns.
Right. It's an easy game that way, right?
Yeah, we're at least diversifying, but sometimes I'm pro handcuff. How do you feel about this team, man? I think obviously we need quarterback to work out, but if Daniel stays healthy, I don't think it really matters too much.
If we can get a healthy month or so out of Jaden Daniels, I'll feel better about it.
Yeah.
But also let's see what happens with Kirk Cousins.
That I think is the most compelling mystery box other than Aaron Rodgers, like left on the board. Like, because I know what I'm getting with Tua. It's not going to give me the return that can actually turn into something. Like the amount of games he throws more than 2 touchdowns are almost never. I don't see it with Tua. I don't see it with Shedeur.
Especially with Bijan. I feel like they're going to lean into him if Tua's playing then.
Yeah, maybe some more check down potential, but I don't see it. I think Mac Jones is probably not getting traded. Like if somebody's on the move more likely than Kirk Cousins, it's not Mac Jones, in my opinion.
Anthony Richardson would have been another interesting one there, but you don't know for sure. We needed early season production more than anything, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Richardson is just like a pull in case of emergency, where like if somebody loses someone to injury mid-season, or he goes to a team that is like clearly not a playoff team, then it'll be like, you know what? We're 4-8. Let's see what we got with Richardson, or like, 4-10. Let's see what we got in Richardson, just to close it out and like lock up a good draft pick, most likely.
Yeah, that's more of a late season play than an early season play, I feel like.
Yeah, totally Daniel Jones, I don't think pairs well with Richardson as much.
No, but, and to say, who's to say Daniel Jones, maybe he's healthy by the start of the year?
That I doubt, because it wasn't like.
Yeah, it was so late in the year. But like, if you can just get a month worth of these guys playing, then you feel like a lot better about it.
Well, let's put in context. Geno Smith went 214. Do you think that would have been a better click for us instead of Zachariah Branch?
Possibly, just because we know that he should be the Jets starter. I mean, weren't they also talking about possibly bringing in someone else? But now that they made the Geno move, it feels like they probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, they're probably cutting Fields any day now.
Because I couldn't see them making a move for Cousins now that they got Geno.
Yeah, I don't think Cousins would want to go there. They would actually have a chance to compete with Cousins. They're trying to go for like Arch Manning or someone.
Right.
Cousins to the Steelers would be super interesting. Cousins to, maybe the Cardinals are still live, but I don't think so. But what about Cousins just back to Minnesota?
That's what I think is the best outcome for this team, is if he went back there and they didn't decide to dabble with Kyler.
They do know him very well.
Right. That's why it would make sense, familiarity with Kevin O'Connell and whatnot. And it just seems like, Kyler, I feel like should be the better quarterback, even though he, has kind of sucked lately. Right. And it's a different scheme fit. Like, it's more of a drop back offense.
Well, here's where maybe Cousins is a bit more compelling of an option, because like if you bring in Kyler week 1, you got to start Kyler, right?
Right. You have to.
But if you bring in Cousins week 1, you could still give JJ McCarthy like a shot.
I feel like if they bring someone in, wouldn't they be like, hey, JJ, you're still not getting it. We need you we're bringing somebody in that we know you can learn from, a seasoned veteran that's been doing this for a minute. And because have they really had that? Like, they had Wentz, but.
Well, the offense was a little better for fantasy purposes with Wentz, at least. It was garbage time still, but it was at least more fantasy viable.
Right. And it just looked more functional.
Yeah. And
then, of course, Wentz got hurt, like, always happens.
If the Vikings are just that premier landing spot at quarterback, like for the running back, it's Seattle, then it's Washington, and then at quarterback, it's Minnesota, just like bar none. And then the Steelers are also interesting, but not the same as the Vikings. So at least with the Tua signing, I think Cousins just has more of a shot to be in that mix. And obviously Geno has a higher floor right now, but I don't think the ceiling is the same as what Cousins could have in Minnesota.
It's almost got to be Pittsburgh or Minnesota for Cousins, doesn't it? I'm trying to make a case for something else. I couldn't really think of where else.
Arizona bringing in Minshew kind of locks in that situation, but I wouldn't rule it out entirely.
And didn't they already say Jacoby's starting there?
Yeah, but if Cousins gave you league minimum and just wanted to be there, you'd at least take the call, probably. But yeah, I wouldn't bet on Arizona. I wouldn't bet it.
No, Pittsburgh, Minnesota feels like the best case outcomes for this team.
Okay, let's hope that works out. Maybe he starts for Daniel Jones.
Or who's to say somebody doesn't suffer some sort of freak setback or something in training camp, and they're like, hey, listen, we got to make that call now. Make a last-minute trade.
I guess Indy is the name we were ignoring.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned a Richardson trade.
Yeah, so maybe who's to say they don't – Kirk Cousins, hey, come in here and, bridge the gap for us until the guy that we that we transition tagged as healthy?
That might be a like 5% chance as well.
Right.
Anyways.
I mean, at least there's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. All right. So with that in mind, full context, Jaden Daniel Jones and Kirk Cousins, Bucky Irving, Javonte, Jalen Warren at a good price, Jadarian Price also a good price, Tyjae Spears, Brian Robinson, 14 picks past ADP, and then George Holani at running back. Receiver studded with Amon-Ra Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Wan'Dale Robinson, Downs, A.D. Mitchell, and Branch. And then our tight end room has Tucker Kraft, Kenyon Sadiq, and David Njoku.
It's definitely, there's some mystery boxes in there that are fun.
I think it works, man. I think like the discussion we just had on like just praying that quarterback finds its way to the best case scenario. Like that's obviously what this team is contingent on, but I think everything else gives it a real shot. Like tight end, I think could really, really dominate. Receiver, we know is going to dominate. And then running back, I think we got good values. And like the Bucky Javonte start, I think is pretty solid.
Yeah, it feels like Javonte should be have a good workload there, and Bucky should have a lot of the valuable touches in there. I mean, I know Gainwell's going to get his, but hopefully it's an offense that at least he's getting like a 60-40 split and make some of the bigger plays, splash plays out of that backfield.
Good offensive lines as well.
Right, that's true.
Hartman says Jets are expecting to get Wentz to back up Geno. I could see that. Yeah, I don't know if it's a lock. Geno's available all season. And then Quid Pro Quo says Howard going to be starting there soon. Best quarterback in the draft last year in regards to
Talking about Will Howard, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Hartman offered Justin Fields. We're not so sure. Quid Pro Quo did think this was a fun draft. And Bryson in here says this was my first 5 running back team. Never start with 4 running backs through 5 rounds. Let's take a look at Bryson's team. Unless you have any final thoughts on our roster.
No. I was interested to see his team.
Yeah, let's take a look. What do you think as of the 11? 3-5-9-3 with Dart did snipe us on Dart. Mendoza, Cam Ward with Genty, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, Quinshon Judkins, and Braylon Allen. Wide receivers, Tet McMillan, Marvin Harrison, Jacoby Myers, Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr., like the price on Omar, but Trey Tucker, Darius Slayton, Stowers, Theo Johnson, and Michael Mayer.
The running back room definitely feels like the strength of that team, which it should.
I honestly think he could be doing without Braylon Allen. I feel like Allen offers nothing.
Yeah, you might have been able to just stop at 4 there and take another wide receiver and hope to. I mean, because you've got what T-Mac and then Marvin Harrison is your first 2.
He waited until pick 203 as well. So like nobody but on that point other than maybe Pacheco and like Ray Davis and then Claiborne are like inspiring picks. Like we took Holani, you know, like
yeah, that was just for the bit kind of thing.
A little bit for the bit, indeed. Yeah, maybe that's the spot where I even grab another receiver because I feel like the receiver room is falling off fast.
That and with your 4 running backs, like you're only going to flex one of them. I get that you're getting the high score because it's best ball, but you know one of those is a 0 every week.
Yeah, I feel like 4 in the first 5 might be one of the scenarios where I'm willing to stop with 4 RBs. I had a team that made it not into the finals, but the week 16 that only had 4 running backs last year, and it was a team I didn't think would work out, but it shockingly did.
I had a Derek Carr team make the big board finals last year, so trust me, I've seen it happen.
Derek Carr. I mean, some people are clicking Derek Carr this season as well. I'm not there, but
I mean, there was rumors of him at first, but now I don't know like what's his landing spot going to be. I would have thought it would have been the Jets or something.
I don't think so, but watch him go to the Vikings.
What does D. Latomsky's team look like? I've seen him in the chat say he's not too mad at his squad.
D. Lutomsky had pick 4 with Hurts, Brock Purdy, and Tyler Shuck. That's pretty solid. Running backs started with RJ Harvey, pick 69, Pollard, Gainwell, Mike Washington, Sean Tucker, Kimani Vidal, and Adam Randall. So definitely
Fun RB room.
Definitely needed 7. Wide receiver Puka, Olave, Terry, Burden, Travis Hunter, Tesla, Torrey Horton, and Jacoby Lane, and then tight end McBride and Colby Parkinson.
I think it's a good idea stopping at 2 tight ends there.
For sure.
I like the Jacoby Lane pick. He was one I was thinking about later in the draft there.
Yeah, he's been sliding. A USC receiver that, might turn out okay. Lincoln Riley seems to recruit that position fairly well historically.
I mean, there's a bunch of good ones,
but obviously Lemon steals all the thunder.
That's a good team though.
Running backs just got to hit on the right player takes, but if Pollard gets nuked, I'd be a bit fearful. But maybe Sean Tucker saves this team. So does Mike Washington. That's
either of those another Seattle possibility landing spots.
Yeah, but quarterback's super good. Yeah, this is a very competitive team. As long as running back figures it out, I like the team.
Yep, definitely. Good one on that one, Lumsky.
Only exception is Travis Hunter. I'm not a Travis Hunter guy, but if that Thomas trade does happen, then I'll be fine with Hunter.
Yeah, he's interesting because if he's going to be playing predominantly defense, but if he has at that price, if he just spikes a couple times, it's worth it. If he plays on offense and has a couple big play touchdowns.
Yeah. No worries, Tomsky. All right, man.
He's Lumsky in BBG streams. He was the one that coined that term when he was. I don't know if he was reading through it and couldn't pronounce it or something.
That's an easier way to pronounce it for sure. The D is silent and the T is silent.
It's just Lumsky.
Lumsky. Did we see anybody else? We had Napball King of QC as well, but
I think those are the only ones I knew in there. What was that? Well, hold on, was that Hartman up there? Was there DMH something?
DMH 09.
That's probably Hartman there, isn't it? Yeah, that's Hartman.
Baker, CJ Stroud, Geno Smith. He does take Geno Smith. With Scatterboot, Ramondre, Rico Dowdle, Dobbins, Rashad White, and Aaron Jones. Not bad. Not bad at all. Receiver, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, AJ Brown, Egbuka, Lemon, Debo, Hurst, and Chris Bell. Fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Tight end, Hunter Henry, Ferguson, and Otten. Not bad.
Just should be getting your tight end points every week.
Yeah. Elite receiver room. Running back has amazing depth and then a little bit risky at the top, but can crush. 100%.
Should be okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then
push the quarterbacks down a ways. Yeah.
Needed a third. The Geno click is fine, but
Hartman usually drafts pretty solid squads too.
Really, really good team. Receivers so fucking strong. Damn.
Yeah, receiving room's nice.
And to get
Egbuka with Baker.
Yeah, and to get Lemon even in round 6, that's pretty nice.
Squeeze the lemon out.
Get as much juice. The juice is worth the squeeze.
Yep. Totally agree.
Quid Pro Quo was in the 12 hole. Had Caleb and Trevor Lawrence. Nobody else. Oh no, it does have Penix. My bad. James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Mason Charbonnet, and Emmanuel Wilson. A little bit thin, but as long as Chuba Hubbard holds strong.
I might have taken a 6th running back there.
I think with Charbonnet, a 6th is a pretty wise decision. But London, Devontae Smith, Parker Washington, Juwan Jennings, Jaden Higgins, Keyshawn Boutte, Keon Coleman, Devon Vele, and then tight end has Loveland. 4 tight ends with Loveland, Juwan Johnson, Schultz, and Hawkinson.
I would have stopped at Schultz.
A lot of tight ends, yeah. I think this team absolutely needs a 6th running back instead of 4th tight end.
Yeah, I would totally agree. It would have been 3 tight ends and 6 running backs for me.
But, I mean, the tight end can still hit the flex spot, but at least 2 of them are guaranteed zeros every week. So,
right. The wide receiver room seems strong enough where you shouldn't need a tight end to hit the flex. So I probably would have spent that on running back pick somewhere.
He was at the 12. Did he just get boxed out? He passed on Kyron, but
he said his stacks fell right in line with ADP.
The Parker Washington, Lawrence. Loveland, Caleb. Could have also just stopped with no Penix and grabbed, a random swing at running back as well.
Right. Totally agree there. The 4th tight end just seems like overkill there.
Yeah, 3-4 with QB tight end. One of those has to go for sure.
He said he's new at this. He's figuring it out. I've been there.
Gotcha. No worries, man. I mean, everything else is pretty good. Like the receiver room feels awesome. Running back can still work. It's just thin. But
yeah, just thin. But I mean, we've seen it happen.
Yeah. I mean, we were recommending someone just take 4 earlier, and that guy was right in front of him. That was also
Oh yeah, so that definitely factors into why his running back room was probably a little thinner by the time he got down to it.
Yeah, he was either taking Kyron and been in a good shape, but then receiver would look kind of weird.
Definitely counting on sharps.
Yeah, I think either swapping Hawkinson or Penix, and like that's so late in the draft, like that's really nitpicking. Yeah, solid chance. The 12 spot can be unique, and it is unique for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You can end up, and a lot of times from the ends of the board, I feel like you have to pull your guys up just because you know they're not coming back.
100%. That's where every pick just becomes fine.
It's really just go get your guy. If there's a 20 pick range, just go get him.
It's good to see Mixon just undrafted now. Feels very appropriate.
I wish I would have not drafted him last year.
Right.
Definitely fell for that. Chased him down the board further. I was at like 15% throughout the year.
I was at 2% at his highest price, and then when he got to like round 11, that's when I started getting in. I finished with like I think 6.5-7% Mixon by the end of it, but it was like I should have had the full fade. But
that was definitely the start of something bad when I was clicking him still. And then there was the rumors of they were saying, oh, he actually might be all right, and then it just kept getting worse, like never positive. And I was like, why am I chasing this down? Oh, we've seen Joe Mixon. This has happened before. He'll be all right. Nope, it was never all right.
Yeah, luckily I stopped soon enough, but there was like a stretch when it was like, really, in round 14 he's still there? Fine, I guess. But
right down there you feel like I can afford that even if it's a 0.
Yeah, no, you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't.
It turns out you cannot.
Watch him just come back and really deliver this year, though.
Yeah, the year now that no one's taken him, he comes out of the woodwork, Undertaker meme.
Yeah, now's the time. But I think our team is solid, man. Like our receiver room is so loaded. I think our running back room is very balanced, and like we got some good values. Yeah, I think we pivoted well to a new landscape.
Yeah, and we had to just hope that Jaden Daniels can stay healthy for the first little bit of the season. I'll feel a lot better about it.
Yeah. Lomsky says should have stopped at Juwan. Maybe.
Oh, it just is too tight. Did he just have 2 tight ends then? Yeah, because he had Loveland, didn't he?
Yeah, that's also a legit.
Yeah, could have done that and just went 2-6-8.
No, 100% should have taken Bigsby over Hawkinson at least. 100%.
Oh yeah, with him there. I know that's your boy.
Yeah, if there's one nugget I can offer quid pro quo, take Tank Bigsby there at the 15-16 turn. Anywhere in round 16, Bigsby is going way too late.
That could definitely. I mean, he's a premium handcuff. If something happens, we've seen how that goes. That could be a pick that's so worth it down there.
Yeah, give me the Eagles handcuff over the Jets and Browns handcuff all day long.
Yeah, definitely seems better, doesn't it?
Even just
in the event that they score the offenses, you feel like should be better, where they could get more touchdowns than just plays that they're in.
Yeah, that's a team I'd like to bet on in some capacity. And if I'm gonna start fading Saquon, then I just have to then prop up Bigsby by
make up for it on the back end.
Yeah, that's the only way to justify the fade. Like, oh, okay, I still want the Eagles backfield. Just give me the cheaper.
Give me some part of it.
Yeah,
totally agree.
But appreciate you joining the. Yeah, I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat as well. Quid pro quo. Appreciate you joining. All right,
Or get
Anthony.
more hertz.
Is there another
Yep.
team you want to check out before we go? Or
No, you're good, man. I was just looking through the people that I recognized in here.
yeah, glad we with
Some
the
good friends and family.
abbreviation. Apologies to Hartman. I'm not as familiar with the handle, so
I wouldn't have noticed it until you went back over it, because on the StreamYard screen, it's a little bit smaller than the normal viewing screen, like
Right.
when I'm streaming it myself. So I caught it. I think I caught it when you were scrolling through the R teams. I was like, wait a minute. I think I recognize that name.
All right, man. Well, in that case, we will say adieu. But I appreciate you coming on the channel. You've been watching for such a long time, man. I'm really glad I could have you on. And
Yeah, definitely appreciate the invite. And you're always one of my, between you and Candyman, because you're the two that are on latest at night, and Best Ball Guy, because he's in California as well. Whenever, any night when you guys are streaming, when I go to bed, that's usually what I put on the TV.
it helps to lean into the West Coast time zone sometimes. It's like I could try to get in early, and I'm now I just have a bunch of time with the rest of my day, or just like accept that maybe I'm just later on. But yeah, appreciate you, man, very much.
Appreciate the invite. Definitely had a good time. Looked like we drafted some good teams.
Yeah, I think we got some good shots. A little bit risky at quarterback but I think we have Lamar and Jaden Daniels. Like, let's go all in.
Right. You've got elite quarterbacks. As long as they stay healthy, you've definitely got a shot.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. If you ever would like to host me on your channel, I'd be happy to show up. And
absolutely. I'm going to start reaching out to people here soon. I've been kind of busy with work, but starting to die down a little bit. So I'm hoping as it gets busier into the summer, then we can do this more.
Yeah, I mentioned this with Candyman after the stream. It was like, I've realized that I've regretted not reaching out to people sooner, where it's like,
oh yeah, totally.
You just get kind of caught up with stuff and kind of just run out of time. And the next thing you know, you're just back in your own little grind, and there's a chance at the moment. And I'm grateful that you are willing to come on, man. Definitely going to do this again.
And it's a lot easier to just fill the dead air time when someone else has got something to say. I've come to realize.
Just for sure.
Just bounce off each other a little bit more. It's easier.
I think we had some good takes, some good, I felt like sometimes maybe I wrenched you in a direction when I said I wasn't going to, but
you're not hurting my feelings. No. And that's the other thing, like we were talking about, it leads you into unique builds.
Yeah, sometimes two minds is definitely at least going to make you different, and also in general going to drastically improve your advance rate. At least bolster the floor of like, can this team compete or not? Right,
for sure. And it just might open your eyes to something like, oh, I wasn't thinking about that before as well.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you, man. Well,
appreciate you having me, man. Definitely had a good time.
Good luck in Michigan. I hope it gets I hope spring starts soon for you.
It's definitely on its way, but I will be perpetually jealous of the weather that you have there almost all the time.
It's fun, but then it's also, you get tired of it sometimes. Time is weird, where like you feel like kind of stuck in the same month for like half of the year, and then winter is like super fucking fast and intense sometimes.
I got a question. How many times did you have to shovel 6 inches of snow this year?
None, but how many times did you have to evacuate from a fire?
That's fair enough. That's true.
Yeah, I did. I was in at least the zone. Thankfully, I'm okay. But
well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, there's good news and bad news. When was the last time you had an earthquake?
We did actually on the west side of the state here have I think it was an F4 tornado earlier this week. Not that it's an earthquake, but similar type of destruction that can happen there.
Well, tornado is not something you want to fuck around with either. You can get stuck in Oz.
No, there was pictures of people's because it was right by the lake. There was I saw some pictures on the news where people's boats actually got lodged in their trees.
Oh shit.
Like it was up like 20 feet in the air, lodged between the branches. I was like, oh, okay, so that was a real one.
Dang.
But yeah, still earthquake. Like, no thank you.
Crazy times, but I definitely hope you get some warmth soon. Sure.
Definitely. And I appreciate you having me on here again, man, for sure. Had some fun.
Yeah, man. Definitely look after the draft. We'll revisit this for sure.
Yeah, definitely, because we'll have more information to act on then as well.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Peace out.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye, everyone. Let's hit that outro. We finally figured it out.
See it.